That would be the Discord getting notified, I'm sure. Before I even get a chance to switch over and put the thumbnail on, too. Isn't that the worst? I hate when it does that. Like, it really needs to be more considerate, I think. Alright, let me go and add this. Add this. And just so it's not made for kids. I don't know why anyone would guess it was made for kids, but
yeah, even though they made like YouTube Kids, it's so punishing.
That's what I think is so funny. It's like, hey, do you think this? It'll say like, oh, is this made for kids or not? No, it's not made for kids. Okay, so it can allow for more mature content. Sees a drop of blood in an execution. Oh, this is too offensive. This is too offensive. We can't show it. Why not? Kids could be watching. But I thought you just said. We say a lot of things. It's stupid. It's so very, very stupid.
We're rolling in now.
Well, we are rolling in. We're rolling on up. Rolling on up. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started then. Let's not waste any time. Let's get this party started. I've got to play Warrior, Assassin, and Adaptable. Well. That is what we're going to have to do, folks. Let's do it. Let me know if anything interesting happens in chat, brah.
Very well. Yes, For Honor. Kids Edition.
Kids Edition. No, what they do with Kids Edition For Honor is everyone's using plastic weapons, and there's no blood, it's just confetti. That could be a good April Fool's thing.
Just replace all the weapons with pool noodles.
I'm pretty sure they did that one April Fool's. I'm almost certain they did. But, who knows, maybe I'm...
An uwu. Why?
What about the uwu?
Untamed Wolf King says, give me an uwu. No. In fact, I redact your uwu.
I mean, it depends on who's saying the uwu. You know, that's the thing, like... Is it a cute anime girl saying uwu? A space marine saying an uwu?
Remember from the most recent Flash Gets thing? Like, ooh. Just,
yeah.
Just puts him out of his misery.
Uwu.
Blast.
Uwu, brother.
I think that's how space wolves communicate with each other.
No, the space wolves communicate with barks.
Yeah.
It's a good thing they didn't show you the wolf tits, or you would have been right fucked, boy. Just shove the Canis helix into my face and throw me into the wild, please, and thank you. All Father willing.
It's the eyes.
It's the eyes. Yes. I love how he asked so what can I expect on this trial? All right, here's what's gonna happen. Are you listening? I'm listening. All right, here's what's gonna happen. You'll walk through the arch. A squid will scream at you. What? And then if you get a boner, we're killing you. Wait, what? Do you need your ears clean, boy? What part of that didn't you understand? Everything. Am I fighting a kraken? Nay. Why are we so down in the eight? Because what's with these gates? Everything about it is just so perfect. And I did research. Apparently that is from an actual book about the Space Wolves. Apparently Space Wolf initiates, before they can complete their ritual to become a Space Wolf, they have to go through this archway called the Gate of Morkai, which briefly exposes them to chaos. And if they succumb to the corruption of chaos and get tempted, when they come out of the gate, then they're killed by their fellow Space Marines. But if they come out unaffected, then they can join. So when he gets kicked through and he meets Zinch, that's not entirely inaccurate. And then, oh no, go away. Why am I naked? Well done, boy. You're a strong one, lad. No flags risen. Then he takes in what's happened, like, oh.
Just the public Canis helix it.
Oh man, that's a funny video.
Yes. Oh, by the way, the White Ring Guard says, hey Raven, today I noticed you sound a lot like the Enclave Sergeant from Fallout 2.
If I knew anything about Fallout 2, I would know whether or not...
I'm going to have to look up a video of that later just to compare.
Are all three of you going up against one Nobushi? That's kind of cringe.
You capture Zone A.
All three of us will go up like your top.
Well, it's what he deserves.
Or whining like a thrall will, lad. His name is Sergeant Dorman. Alright. We'll look that up later.
Ah, he did the crushing counter bash thing. Well, all things are possible when you gank, boys.
What if Joshua Graham was in charge of the Legion instead of Caesar? The Legion wouldn't suck.
The Legion wouldn't have been shitty. That's what would have happened.
He would have basically been its Constantine.
You lost Zone A.
Yo, Raven, I bought the Nobu X Warden sticker. Now I'm waiting for my Yorm X Sin sticker, and there will be more of your characters. Sweet, nice, Vlad. Put it on one of your stakes when you're impaling someone. Oh dear. Hey, Mercy dropped another cat. You keep finding those.
Sorry, Nobushi.
She just wanted to dance and love you.
There we go. Got her. See, it's not as fun when you get ganked on. See, that's the ticket. Let me heal. Actually, I'm going to stay here because I have a feeling if these guys are smart in any capacity, they'll come here.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Raven, if you were to create a Space Marine chapter, who would they be a successor of, and what would their name be?
I created a Space Marine Legion.
Yeah,
so.
but if you were to create a chapter that was a successor chapter of an already existing Legion.
That'd be a little harder to do, I think. I'll have to think about that.
Yeah, give him some time. I'm not late. You're all this early. Okay, whatever makes you feel better. Who invited the Yaborn? Do not interrupt. Oh, gosh.
One moment! It's snack time!
Really bold of you to assume the For Honor player base is smart.
Good theory. But you're dead. I'm going to sea!
If I could afford 40k, I would train Black Templars and Orcs.
I love the Black Templars. They're so awesome. If I had to make a successor chapter, probably be either for the Salamanders or for the Raven Guard. For sure. Those are two of my favorites. And I feel like we don't see enough successor chapters from those two. Like, they're kind of all on their own, and I'd prefer them to have some help. Is this really your whole game plan?
Indeed. A wizard is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he leaves.
Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh! Bye, Nutsa!
Well,
That's what you
top.
get. That's what you get for ganking. You get ganked back.
Question, Raven. Have you ever been interested in Greek or Norse mythology? Because I always see you as someone, not just as a writer, but as someone that is OG on mythology.
Oh, I love mythology. I love Greek and Norse mythology. I wouldn't say I'm an expert in any of them, but
You've just been reading them since you were like 5.
Oh, well, I mean, I love them, but I'm not an expert.
I kid you not. We would go out to restaurants as, like, and when I say kid, like, when we were kids, I mean, like, I was, like, 2 or 3, and he was 5 or 6 at the time. It's too late in the evening for me to do math. But we'd go out to restaurants, and while Mom and Dad would be discussing, you know, whatever topic of the day, he would be regaling me of stories of ancient Greek legends.
Well, I mean, it's always fun.
Yeah, well, like, literally, most of my knowledge of a Greek myth originally came from him telling me stories.
I mean, I like stories. I think what I loved about Greek myth more than just the mythology was just the stories that came with them. We've got some very toxic people on the enemy team. They're already starting with the thank yous and all that.
Well, Raven, the Raven Guard do have a successor chapter. They're called the Raptors.
Oh, that's a cool
Or are
name.
they Raptor Girls?
They're not Raptor girls. It won't count.
Not yet. That was my bad.
Ah, shoot!
Ma, the creature in the basement escaped. I can see you either the the Lunar Dragons, the Umbral Knights, and your naming roster. Those are good. I like those.
Thank you, Nobu. I'm gonna go help out Nuclear Boom and heal.
Yeah, you got it.
You got it, but I still need to heal. How am I doing? 7 kills, 1 death. That's actually pretty good for Nibbles. Yeah, guys, I thought I'd start out the night with Nibbles.
Every one should start out the night with Nibbles. Nibbles, no, it's not. No.
Nibbles, that's not what we do. That's not what we do, Nibbles.
She's not quite housebroken.
One day we'll get her potty trained, okay? But she's a sweet kid, you know, like.
Well, I mean, we'll eat your kid, but she, I guess. Why are you the only one left on this team?
Because they all keep running to.
You know,
Okay, fine, catch.
Strategically.
No, it actually went wide. Ah, they finally got me.
Keep Nibbles away from your house cat.
She'd eat the house cat. What are you talking about?
No, we're talking about Nibbles. We do not own a cat.
We don't own a cat, but Nibbles is the name of our shaman.
I thought you were just like we don't eat cats. Like what?
Nibbles is the name of my. You know, you guys know how I make stories for all my For Honor characters, right? Nibbles is the shaman.
Nibbles.
That's her name, Nibbles.
Nibbles has tinnitus now. What if I bite her back? That's kinky.
That's just a special evening.
You captured Zone A.
Oh, I'm sorry, Orochi. You got in my way.
Sorry. You threw off my groove. Oh dear, this is bad. Oh, this is bad.
Good parry. Oh, how do you do that, man? I've never understood how a Conqueror can pull off that kind of move, where he can just go into his zone, where he can go into his unblockable heavy, then instantly, and I do mean instantly, switch into his all guard. That is unreal speed. I don't know how they do that, but it annoys the spit out of me. I mean, I had him too. I thought, okay, he's thrown his heavy, now I can get in a hit, but then instant all guard. I don't understand how that works.
Alright. Does Nibbles need a vaccination rate? Is she up to pet code?
Probably not, actually.
I mean, the local witch doctor checked her out and said that, you know, she's not gonna die anytime soon.
He's holding out. And he switched to light spam.
He's desperate.
And he's done. All the Orochi had to do was break out his own light spam. Who's Ace Lopez? Oh, the Nobushi. I thought it was the Kong. Well, I gave him a good fight. That was good. We did good. Everyone is a winner. Everyone's a winner today.
Except for the guys that lost.
Except for that. They are not the winner. That's kind of mean, though, Lark.
I mean, my friend the witch doctor, he told me what to say.
He told me, beep, 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 bop, beep, bop, beep, bop, bo, beep, bop, bo, kamalama, kumalama, kumala viste. No, you're not going to do that with, okay.
No.
Okay.
Not now.
I'm sad now, Lark. You didn't.
As a conservative Christian mother of 17 children, I dislike the use of the word kinky.
Okay, a conservative Christian mother of 17 children?
Yes.
Look, I'm not one to tell a woman what to do or not to do with her body, but...
That's not enough. 18.
18, let's go with... No, why even go that low? 20, damn it. 20. You know, God told Abraham he'd have as many children and grandchildren as there are stars in the sky. I think he was setting a record. Let's see if we can break that. I am kidding. I've just never heard of that number before.
Yeah, because they're probably BSing us.
Yeah, most likely. But I was playing along.
How dare you?
I know.
That was skilled comp, man. Yeah, that was pretty skilled.
Yeah, he was a good comp. There was no question.
Wasn't there a family with 69 kids? I'm sure somewhere.
I'm sure there is somewhere, and to that lady I go,
It's like, what were you producing, like triplets every time? What happened?
you were the most fertile creature. There has to come a point where
Fertile Crescent.
there has to come a point where the father says, "Please, stop."
CK2 character at 20. That's honestly for a CK2 character that's kind of low.
CK2.
The Crusader Kings 2.
I'm.
Because like depending on what faction, like you could like imprison like all sorts of women and just like force them to be concubines. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I don't like that. I don't like that you would do that. Like, here's the thing. Here's the thing. People always talk about you can't tell a woman what to do with her body. And I agree with that. You should never tell a woman what to do with her body. I mean, I don't think that applies to the Roe v. Wade thing very much, but I do think it applies to when you, I don't know, lock women in a dungeon to make them give birth ad nauseum for the rest of their lives.
Yes, indeed. Do not look at my Fallout Shelter account, please. I'm sorry, but I need someone to man the
Oh no! Oh no! They're running on a
no.
Orochi pack. This is not good, ladies and gentlemen. This is not good. Oh no! This is gonna get ugly. This is gonna get ugly, and the toxic one is on their team. I have a feeling this is gonna be a very bad match. Oh man, I may be playing Gladiator, but even Gladiator isn't as annoying as Orochi's. Ooh.
Well, one of them does have, like, the radiation logo, so that we know they're going to be toxic.
Well, he was on our team last time. He's the one who got us the win by finally killing the Conqueror. We are all in danger. I smell a slight hint of danger.
Oh, that's a gun.
Oh, that's a gun. Anything else going on in
Set the symbol.
Anything else going on in chat?
Let's see. Well, Raven, it's official. Ubisoft has fully turned to Chaos now since we have the colors of all the Chaos Gods as materials.
Yes, I noticed they released Ruby as a color. But then again, Crimson kind of counted too, didn't it? Crimson's a red color. I mean, they now have... I mean, they have green for Nurgle. They have blue for Tzeentch. They have purple for Slaanesh. Or pink, if you'd rather.
They have black and white for Malal, if you really want to.
I really don't want to, though. I think I had this conversation on Discord just the other day. I think he is entirely irrelevant. I think Malice or Malal, whatever you want to call him, is entirely irrelevant. I looked him up on Wikipedia to learn more about him. They spend more time on the Wikipedia trying to explain how Ubisoft was dodging copyright to even try and conceive him than they do talking about what he represents. And what he does represent is anarchy. And I'm like, I'm sorry, isn't that Khorne and Slaanesh's thing?
Khorne...
And then they say, no, he's the god of destruction. I'm sorry, isn't that Khorne's thing? And they're like, no, he's the parasite god who grows stronger as the other chaos gods grow stronger. Then therefore he can never outdo them. Like, okay, I am now strong because Nurgle is strong. Okay, now Nurgle and all the others gang up on you. It's...
Oh, by the way, I want to remind you that Warriors Den is next Thursday.
It is? Oh, I better take that day off then.
Oh.
Ah, I got killed, but I managed to take down one of the Orochi. That's what matters, right? Yeah, only me and Zerk have any kills on our team. Well, are you surprised? Orochi teams are some of the most toxic teams in the game. Because they will just dodge light, spam, dodge light. And unless you're a god of light parries, it's just torture. Hang in there, Hitakiri, I'm coming. Hang in there, Hitakiri, I'm coming. Oh, you got him. Good.
Bitches of no concern.
Hold on, Hitakiri, I got this one.
I don't appreciate that kind
Oh, activate revenge.
Let's be fair though, Warminder team-ups are literally the most toxic because of the corruption. Yeah, that can be rough to go to. We almost had a really toxic team of Shugokis. That was just hugging nonstop.
Yep, just spam that move. Guys, Orochis are the most... Guys, I can't tell you enough how much Orochi and Kyoshin annoy me. Kyoshin annoys me more, if I'm being honest, because at least with Orochi you have options. Kyoshin is light spam the character, as I've said, but what I love is Ubisoft said, we're going to take away the light spam from Orochi. Great. Now we've given him so many more options to make him even more insufferable. Like, legitimately. Legitimately, he is an insufferable hero because, okay, his rushing tide attack, that dashing forward attack, can come from 3 different directions, all of them undodgeable, so you have to hope you guess right. He has light spam, and I know, oh, he only has 2 lights in a row. Yes, until he can dodge cancel into another light. He has an opening bash that guarantees a light. He has a backup dash light. I'm sorry, I think that Orochi is a toxic creature.
Indeed.
And when you have a 4-man team of Orochis, yeah, that's just terrible. Hold on, Nusha, I'm coming.
Did he have some revenge built up if there was only one person he was fighting?
I don't even know.
Indeed.
But we got to make sure that they don't get any more leads.
Yes. Hey, Raven and Lark, would you rather be an Eldar or a Tau?
Eldar.
Yeah, I'd probably go Eldar.
Because the Eldar may be pretentious,
There's a
but they're not communists, okay?
They're not space communists. And honestly, like the longevity alone of their lifespan is pretty baller. However, I will admit the Tau have some sweet-ass technology. I do like some of their aesthetics.
I'm making sure we don't lose B. I'm going up to Nusha to help her out at A.
Well, that's what they did.
Because I'm sure they're spamming her right now. Hold on, Greg.
Correct answer.
Lost zone C.
No.
None of that.
Good fight, Nuclear Bloom. But when it comes to annoying assassins, Maria is in a league of her own. That's her name, Maria. Maria, Ave Maria. I'm not doing that.
Ave Maria.
Looks like another one's coming up to play. All right. Come on up. Take your bets. Let's go. Oh, both of you. Okay.
Oh dear. You brought a friend.
Yep, there it is. Hey, good fight. Are you going to give me a good fight for that? Or are you just being toxic today, sir? There you are. There's the good fight.
Alright, there you go.
You know you had to win through teaming up, but hey, it's okay. At Rep 60 Orochi, I would expect nothing less.
4 weeks in one team, why? Because they're toxic.
But, no, it's exactly it. They all said, you know what, let's all go Orochi so we can all just spam the same moves over and over again.
Yep.
A is about to be ours again. Man, I'm surprised. I thought we'd have a tougher time. But maybe it's our Hitakiri.
I'm willing to bet what happened is they saw like 1 or 2 of them were going to be Orochis and said, you know what, it would be funny if we all went Orochi.
That's probably what happened, but I think it's also true that they underestimated our playability. Because our Hitakiri's been just scoring some kills, man.
You lost zone C.
Well, to be fair, the Hitakiri's kind of used to...
Let's see if I can... Oh, they're just sitting in C. They're boosting C. All right, well...
They're boosting...
Are you just... Yep, he's one of those. They're one of those.
Next stream idea of playing League of Legends or not suicide.
I'm not going to play League of Legends. I don't like League of Legends.
Yeah, I tried it at the request of a friend of mine, and just playing versus the AI, my team was yelling at me just because I didn't know what I was doing. And like, well, that's why I'm playing the AI, so I don't screw up a live match.
Like, legitimately, League of Legends is the home of toxicity. Well, it's not the home. It's a home of toxicity.
Yeah, it was just like I was just trying to figure out the game.
Much like Overwatch, the trailers are more engaging than the actual thing. Hold on, Nusha, I'm coming, baby. You two toxic sons of guns.
The enemy rallied. Enemy team is breaking.
Oh, come here, buddy. Come here, buddy.
Don't
ruin it. Don't ruin it.
We had something special.
We had something going there, and you ruined it.
Exactly. Vote to delete Orochi. We don't want to delete him.
I don't want to delete Orochi. I want them to nerf him. Like, for example, I don't know why they made it so that his rushing wave attack can be undodgeable from every direction. Make it so that it's only one direction that it's undodgeable, like it used to be. Remember that? It used to be, if it came from the top, it was undodgeable. But any other side, it wasn't. See, I don't think he needs undodgeable from every direction, because that's why they spam it. They know it's hard to anticipate. But we beat him, so that worked. I wonder who will quit. I'm going to put it on the Golden Orochi. The FF. Oh, I've got a group invite from Geist. All right, I'll join out with you guys. All right, but just this one, because I wasn't going to accept any group invites just because I just want to kind of relax. But we'll do it. We'll do a match or two. I don't mind.
Okay, hey Raven and Lark, what do you think is the most toxic fandom group?
Oh, God, where do you want to, like, I think that there are a lot. Okay, so Steven Universe is definitely one of the top ones. Good Lord. That's one. The pro Star Wars sequel trilogy fans, they're the ones who I think are also incredibly.
All three of them.
All three. What's another?
DVD.
DVD's fandom isn't toxic, the player base is toxic. And there's a difference.
Alright, fair enough. Oh, gosh. Let's see if you guys have good memories. Who remembers the Super Wholock fandom? For some odd reason, they had to combine Sherlock, Supernatural, and Doctor Who together in one corrupted large fan base.
Oh, God. Well, the thing is, the reason they combine it is because the people who like them are all the same demographic.
Yep.
Young, squealing college-age girls who love sexy men in grungy outfits.
Yeah, well, it's just, like, even if you, like, it's like, oh, I thought that the first season of that Supernatural show was okay. And then they're just, which brother do you ship with a guy? Like, what?
Legit, they're all... Oh, man. Some of them just, ouch. Like, I watch it and I go, how is this good? How is this, like... Supernatural I used to kind of like. I used to like the first two seasons.
The earlier seasons were okay.
But then it just got dumb.
Doctor Who was kind of... It was just meh for me. I didn't see the appeal. I thought, like, it's serviceable, but it didn't grip me like I was being sold.
I just didn't care for it.
How about Marvel Phase 4?
Oh!
That's toxic, but it's not
first
fan base.
you need to find a fan base. Because that's a little tricky.
I wouldn't say...
Well, when even Chris Hemsworth is pulled out, like, even he said, "Nah, I'm not a fan."
Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't think it's the fan base. I think just Disney's board is kind of toxic.
Disney, you know, it's sad. I used to love Disney, you know. I thought Disney was, like, the best. I loved how enjoyable and timeless the original classics were. And even when they started making crappy decisions, like crappy business decisions especially, I still tried to defend them. I still tried to say, you know, okay, these are dumb, but still, and I was trying my hardest, but now I can't even defend them anymore. The things they've done are just terrible.
Brother Lorecast's right, Undertale is an awful fan base.
Undertale, the less I know about Undertale, the better.
Yeah. Just know they were harassing Markiplier because he didn't use the right voice for certain characters, and he dared suggest he might do a playthrough where he would actually get an ending they didn't like. And it's like, guys, chill.
And then of course there's that one girl. I don't know the full story of this, but I heard the story from somewhere that there was this girl who was a fan of Steven Universe and drew fan art of it, but she didn't draw all the characters the right body type. And so people were threatening her and harassing her, calling her out for her evil and all that. Like, I was like, wow, it is a stupid show. It's not even a good show.
Hey Raven, could you make a video about Darth Vader?
I suppose.
Hypothetically speaking. Yeah, that might be an interesting May the 4th video.
Shoot, that Highlander's good. That Highlander. Oh, he's a Rep 70. Of course he is. I don't know what he's trying to make there.
Ironically, the Doom community is bad.
This isn't going to end well. Our time here is not going to last.
I'm not sure I call Twitter a fan base though.
It's just a community.
But it is a heck of a drug.
Oh man, all four of you in C, y'all ought to be ashamed.
Excited to get a Shinobi. Highlanders are rep 3s or rep 70s. There's no in between.
And no matter what, they're all going to be better than you.
You capture
Yeah.
Zone A.
Skylanders fans are very chill, though. I've met very few Skylanders fans. Not that they aren't out there, just I don't think they're as open about it, and I think that's what makes them less toxic. Because I admire the fan who recognized, maybe this person doesn't want me to obsess over this and talk about this thing exclusively.
How come the two of us who are PlayStation players are doing better than the two who are not? That doesn't make any sense to me. I shouldn't even have 2 kills. I'm the Shinobi. I shouldn't have 2 kills. Especially when I have a rep 70 Highlander who has 3.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Jedi Knight says, did you hear that Steven Universe fans attacked the staff of a hotel because it had the same name as a crappy one from the show? What the heck?
Well, then again, there's also the fan base for Rick and Morty and their reaction to McDonald's having that stupid-ass sauce that they love so much.
The Szechuan sauce, yeah. Yeah, Rick and Morty's fan base is pretty toxic. Rick and Morty fan base is cringe. It is. It is very much cringe. And they have like a collection of like 2 to 3 jokes they just repeat ad nauseum. And it's not even funny. Okay.
Got him.
All right, Ubisoft, I want you to explain what just happened.
Zone C.
Don't go to your cheat sheet.
No. I want Ubisoft to explain what just happened and do it without using the phrase Beetle the Bard.
I cannot.
Then please stop talking. But yeah, Rick and Morty, Steven Universe, all of them, they all reek of screw you for making it.
Yeah, let's see. I think My Little Pony is one of the worst. Yeah, they can have some degenerates. I will give them that.
Yeah, I'll give you that. They have some pretty bad ones. The Brony community is a terrifying one.
Yes, one that should not exist.
You lost Zone A.
How?
Let's see. Good evening, Lord Raven and Lord Lark. Know that your stream just cured the boredomness I was suffering through. Hey, that's good.
Finally, Aramusha got
And
it.
Raven and Lark, did you know that the 5th Indiana Jones is going to have time traveling?
Yeah, okay, so I've heard about the new Indiana Jones movie. Okay, Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny. Can I just start by saying that's the dumbest sounding Indiana Jones title I've ever heard? And supposedly what's going to happen, this is what I've heard, I don't know if it's true, don't take this as gospel. Supposedly what's going to happen is it's going to not be really about Indiana Jones, it's going to be more about this professor lady who goes back in time because these people are planning on rewriting history where the Nazis win. She meets a young Indiana Jones and helps him, but he takes a fatal hit for her, which kills him, and thus it rewrites him out of existence, and she becomes the new Indiana Jones as a result. That's at least the story I've heard. Yeah. Yeah, you missed.
It's like, hey, we came up with an idea that will please literally no one except Kathleen Kennedy. And why is she still allowed to make stuff at Disney? She already destroyed one franchise. She doesn't need to destroy another. You know, Harrison Ford's really got to be tired of this by now. It's like, didn't we already kill it with the last one? Now we're just beating the grave.
Come here, son. Talk to me.
You captured Zone
A
C.
little difficult, but not impossible.
Well,
I've seen some great ventriloquist acts.
The Last Crusade is still the best Indiana Jones movie, yes.
I will not disagree with that.
Yeah, it's closely followed by Raiders of the Lost Ark, but The Last Crusade is just awesome.
I'm not going to help him get revenge. You have fun with that, Geist. I'm going to go to C and heal up.
Okay, like Fallout fans will be good and wholesome as apple pie, but the moment you disagree with their political position, which is based 100% on their favorite faction, they become as evil as super mutants. To a degree, as a guy who has actually worked with the Fallout fandom a bit, like there are a lot of people that were kind of were very receptive. Like, hey man, I disagree on like your take on Mr. House, But
Is that? Oh my god! I hate that strat from Glad. It's basically light, light, heavy. No, switch to another light. Light, light, heavy. Switch to another light. That strat annoys me because not because it's bad, but because I can never remember to handle it properly. So it's not his fault. It's mine. I'm not good at dealing with it, but it still pisses me off. How am I doing right now? 7 kills, 4 deaths. That's not bad, but we're still not going to win this one. I don't think. Sorry, guys. I don't think I'm going to be able to help you here.
Oh, brother Warcap, you're fine. You just subjected. Oh yeah, I know what you mean there, King Calamity. I have actually seen some Reddit posts that have been very upset with me because they couldn't explain why. They just didn't like me. They just didn't like the art.
Oh! How did I know to do that? How did I know? I don't even know how I did that. I just activated Shinobi's Ultra Instinct for a brief moment.
Clip it, add the music.
I won't be able to clip it while we're streaming, but once
just do it at some point.
once the stream is complete, I will go back and clip that bit.
You've only seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, Skylander? At least watch The Last Crusade. You can skip Temple of Doom. It's better for some people.
Oh crap.
Or the Elder Scrolls fans.
Oh my... Highlander, really? Really? Guys, I want you to keep in mind, Highlander dropped his 4th feat, his spear-throwing feat, on me. Now, I was surrounded by 3 enemies. So that Highlander wasted his 4th feat on a single enemy who was already low health and being ganked from 3 directions. I'm sorry, I don't care how good you are as a player, that's some low-dick energy. That is some low-dick energy, and you should be ashamed.
Hot take, Marion Ravenwood is the best Indiana Jones girl. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, you'll hear no dispute from me. Or the Elder Scrolls fans that go, oh, you like vanilla Skyrim? Oh, you like vanilla Skyrim? Don't you know Shad Morrowind is a way better RPG? Yeah, and if you like Morrowind or Oblivion more than Skyrim, yeah, that's fine. But I have met some people that have just like they refuse to allow you to enjoy Skyrim. Like they're just like, no, I haven't played any RPG that wasn't made past 2003. Like, okay.
See, that's a funny execution, not that shit that Highlander got for his Hero Fest.
Oh, like it gets executed. At least he did it with panache.
Well, I'd rather... Wait, how come I can't respawn? Are you saying he did it just in time that I can't respawn now? That is garbage. The timing of that was awful.
At least you got hit with a funny execution.
Yeah, that's the thing. I hate his new... People were saying, dude, you gotta understand. It's a reference to his other execution where he throws it. In this one, he just doesn't throw it and he stabs you. It's a fake out. And I'm like, yes, that's funny. Haha, I didn't do the funny execution. That's even funnier. How is that funny? No, at least with Lawbringer's fake out execution, the oh come on one, where he acts like he's going to swing but then they already die and he goes, oh man, like, at least that's funny because he reacts to it. It's a funny response. In this one, it's just, oh, stab, done. There's no funny reaction. There isn't even a look like, what? What? With Shinobi's new execution, at least when Warden goes out, he's like, oh, puts his hand on his forehead, like, what am I to do? Like, that kind of thing. That's funny. But with Highlander's new execution, it's, I'm not going to toss it. Stab. Come on. You've got a giant-ass sword. Use it.
Use it, mate.
Use that giant sword, man. Take full advantage, man. What you doing?
I'm predicting that alienating your audience for Indy 5 will not make profit.
Who are we talking about?
Indiana Jones 5. It's just like,
yeah.
Alienating is just, so we're going to time travel back, kill off Indiana Jones just to...
And to replace him with a female replacement. No, this movie will bomb, and I think Harrison knows it. I'm pretty sure Harrison
I'm pretty sure he got roped in via contract.
I'm sure he did. Because I can just tell from the trailer, he doesn't look happy. He just looks... In fact, in all the movies he's been in lately, he's kind of looked miserable.
I don't know. There's like... I saw one... it was a couple years ago, but like it was the Jackie Robinson movie.
Yeah.
He did very well in there. Because a lot of people say, oh, Harrison plays the same guy in everyone. No, he actually did a very good job in 42.
I feel like Harrison is one of these people who really wants unique roles. Like, he wants a role where he can feel out the character and kind of determine where they're going to go. Because according to Mark Hamill, when he was playing Han Solo, he was so invested in the character, he wrote notes on the side of his script about things he should say, certain emotions he should show. He even spoke to the directors and all that, like, hey, like, I feel like I should do this. I feel like we should go this way. The reason he fell out of favor with Han was after the end of the second movie, he said Han kind of reached his character conclusion. He started off as this selfish smuggler who didn't think about anyone else, and then by the end of the second movie, he was willingly sacrificing himself to save Leia and Chewbacca. And, like, he even confessed his love for her, showing that he could love someone above himself. He's like, I think that he should either be killed off at the end of this movie or die sometime in the third movie. I don't think his character should continue. But Han Solo was too popular, so George Lucas said, no, we can't kill you off. We need to do our happy ending where you live. And I think he just said, I don't like that. I really don't like that. And so when the new series started up, when the sequel series started up, I don't think he was interested in coming back because he's like, why would I want to come back? Han Solo's story is done. It is finished. There's nothing else for him. And then they probably said, oh, no, don't worry. Carrie Fisher's going to be in it. Mark Hamill's going to be in it. George Lucas is going to be involved. And he goes, wait, they're all involved? Okay, I guess I can come back for one more hurrah with all of them. I could enjoy that. Only for him to find out once he got there, yeah, no, Lucas actually has nothing to do with it. Carrie Fisher's only in a part of this, and you only spend a little bit of time with her. And Mark Hamill won't even show up until the very end after your character's dead. And I'm sure Hamill just went, screw you. I'm sure Hamill just went, I'll be in my trailer. Let me know when it's my part. And he's like, oh, it's my time to come out? Okay. Here's your half-ass performance. I'm going back to bed. Like, I could just feel his frustration. I could feel Mark Hamill's frustration. They both were there. They both gave a performance. Just, wow.
I just love when they try to ask Mark Hamill a question in the interview. He just like, oh, I'm allowed to talk now? I thought I just gave long stares.
Yeah, people who say, no, Mark Hamill liked it. No, he didn't. He openly detested everything about his role in the movies and about what the movies were. He said this is not the way Star Wars was meant to be. And I can't blame him. He played Luke Skywalker, the most hopeful, happy, optimistic person in the galaxy. The person who looked at Darth Vader and said, I still see good in you. I still see someone redeemable. I still see someone I could potentially reach. And then goes to the character who, I had a bad dream that Ben killed everyone I knew and loved. Time for me to kill him.
Oh, hey, Hannah.
Hi, Hannah.
Raven and Lark, what's your favorite color?
Crimson, probably. How did I get 3 kills in a row? This should not happen. This is not possible in my United States of America. But maybe in China.
But you're in Valkenheim, right?
4 kills, brother! 4 kills, and we're still going strong.
Hulk Hogan Nusha. I didn't know I needed that.
Hey guys, bring it in,
Yeah.
Santa Goki. Yeah. It's my boy. You shrank there a little, Goki. I hope you're okay. All right,
He's on a diet.
He's on it. Oh, better go to Ed.
You lost.
I don't think I'll be that lucky again, guys. That moment of awesomeness will not come again. Yeah, it definitely won't. Hi.
Raven and Lark, if you could Centurion punch a fan base, who would it be?
Bye. Bye. Oh! He saved himself with
What a save! What a save!
That was a good save. I'm not even going to lie. I'm kind of impressed with that.
We just keep shoving around the hole.
He knows what we're trying to do. Oh! Goki with the kill.
Bro, he was so busy trying to avoid the hole, he forgot to dodge everything. But let's see, which fandom would we probably the Rick and Morty fandom? Guys, Raven is actually Faram. We're finally figuring it out.
I wish.
Oh.
Nusha just finally blessed me because I spoke the truth about her character. Oh my god, he light spammed! A Kyoshin light spammer? In what universe?
That's right. Go ahead, step on him.
I love that it was Jugoki, too. Go ahead, step on him. Like, Goki, okay.
No, it's like fake from like the Venture Bros. Or
Oh, Geist ate it. Damn it.
Ah, but I still love that Venture Bros thing. Go ahead, take it from me. Just the,
I'm gonna let Guts over there deal with B. I'm gonna go up to A.
let's see, most chill fandom, Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers was probably the most chill fandom.
Yeah.
Oh, that Kyoshin just made a fatal error. I love that he did, though. He tried to drop kill the Warlord and failed. That's the best.
Yeah.
And he left A unguarded, which means I took it, so that's even better.
Animal Crossing used to be chill, but then New Horizon happened. Yeah, Pokemon fandom used to be chill until puberty hit the main fan base.
And they all gained zits and said, nah!
No, they started gaining other interests.
Alright, he's down.
Oh, we already answered our favorite colors.
We already said our favorite colors. I think mine is crimson.
Mine's probably blue.
I see skies of blue.
I was thinking
Alright, here comes a light spamming Kyoshin, guys. You never see these. Get out of here. I know one weakness that most light spammers share. They get so focused on getting their lights in, they forget to guard against guard breaks. So usually what I do is I wait for them to finish their second light, because I know your next move is going to be a light. So let me guard break you real quick. This is a very strange night. I should not be doing this good.
A person says, "Hey Raven, I rewatched your video on New Epic, and I absolutely loved it. In fact, I'm thinking of making my own story in the same universe, but in the UK, Ireland area, with different fantasy races." Oh, dude, let us know how it works. Sounds cool. Is ICE like a national brand or only in my area? Because like you mean like ICE, like stuff you get at movie theaters?
Is this guy listening to the stream? Because he figured out my plan to beat him.
Or you could have just done that.
Maybe he did. I'm a little surprised by that, actually.
You lost zone A.
Oh, there you go.
Well, Alex Coy, if you are listening to the stream, good job getting me. I'm glad I could give you the information with which to make your win.
I used to be a heavy spammer because for the first week.
Oh, man, they've got to thank you, spammer. So Jormungandr finally helps him get in the lead, and now he's going to thank us. You notice he only started doing that after they took the lead? You notice that, guys?
He went from the Chris Ray Gun school of bullying. Make sure you're winning first.
Make sure you win before you start acting toxic. You have to win. All right, let's turn B around. With that turned around, we're going to catch back up much quicker.
Go get him, boys.
Let's go to C. Hi, Yorm. Nope.
You missed.
You missed that one. I knew your plan as soon as I saw what you were up to.
Hey, Raven, what does see no evil, fear no evil, speak no evil mean?
It means that I will not speak evil. I will not partake in evil. I will not...
Zone A.
Oh, man, I keep falling for that. I should be ashamed. Thanks! God, man, you okay?
He's a little upset.
I think he's a little upset, yeah. Well, thanks, man, thanks. Okay.
Buddy?
Are you okay, man? You seem a little angry.
This seems to register on an emotional level. Geist over there's like, you won the club, boy.
Well, that wasn't Geist. Geist is the red Shugoki.
Oh.
Green Shugoki is, the Orange Knight.
Hey, Raven, do you miss the old minion kill animations for Dominion?
I miss them, but I don't mind that they're gone. I know how people... There's this one YouTuber, I don't remember his name, but people were telling me to watch him and respond to him. He said, that's the thing that's killing For Honor, the loss of the minion kill animations. And I'm like, are you serious?
It's like that one guy who told me Total War was going downhill because of the archers were... The archer animations in newer Total Wars weren't as good as the old. I'm just like, out of all the things you could have complained about, you made a whole video about it.
Thanks! Man, okay, dude, we got it. Man. I hate when people do that because it never looks well for them. Because what it means is, when you thank everyone like that, thank, when you do that, it lets me know you're trash. And you're doing that because you know you're trash and you're happy to finally be getting kills. And it means that if you win, you're going to pull out immediately so you don't get your ass kicked next match. Oh, rolling away now. Thanks, Goki. Thanks, Goki.
He's focusing on you.
He doesn't like me very much.
This really must register on an emotional level for
Crap. I'm just going to pull away. Let him run out of his shield. Thanks, thanks, thanks. Yep, there's the light spam now. Yep, there it is. That's what the toxic do.
Hey, Ray,
Oh!
he is really
He's
salty.
really mad. Okay, all right.
What happened to you, dude?
Did mommy not love you this morning? Did mommy not give you enough hugs? Is that what's going on here? Is it guys, keep them both busy. I'm on my way. I'll have my corruption feet ready. Just stay alive, Geist. Stay alive, Geist. I can help.
Throw down them techies, too.
Thanks, thanks, thanks. Thanks, thanks, thanks.
Remember, fellas, turnabout is in fact fair play.
You captured Zone C.
Oh,
Hold on a second.
you need a win.
Guys, come here. Here, brother.
Oh, get out.
Let me bring it in, buddy. Yeah. Killed that thinking bitch.
Now, let's go find the last one.
He's probably hiding in there.
Let's read him.
Yeah, we're gonna sit right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's what happens, bro. You don't. Again, to quote Chris Ray Gun, you can't be toxic unless you win. That's the most important thing. And you didn't win. So notice he's not saying thanks anymore. Notice he's not saying thanks anymore. See, that ship has sailed now. That ship has sailed. I don't care if you want to drop thanks over and over again, but you better win. Otherwise, you look like a prick.
Actually, no. Yorm deserves no chalky milk. I agree.
You captured Zone A.
Notice he's real quiet now.
Guys, get over here. Get over here, man. We gotta thank him. We gotta thank him for a good match. Thanks. Thanks. Thanks for a good match. Thank you.
Warlord
Thanks
just
for a
knew
good
what to
match,
do.
man. We appreciate it. Yeah, he's real quiet now. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Don't act toxic unless you know you gonna win. Oh, man. I'm sure he's mad at me. If he knows that I'm a YouTuber, he's probably gonna be real mad.
Well, the way he behaved, he has nobody to blame but himself. Had he not behaved like that, we would have not done anything.
Oh, man, a lot of them quit. He didn't quit. And he's gone. He's gone, ladies and gentlemen. I am not surprised. Oh, man, I don't like being that toxic. I really don't. But when you just spam thanks over and over again.
And then you start, dancing.
And then you start dancing on other people's corpses. You can't start complaining when other people do it right back at you.
What's even sweeter is that he lost.
See, that's the best thing. That's what I love. That's what I love. People who spam things like that and act that toxic, I love when they lose and everyone does it right back at them. Because they always get pissy. They're always like, why'd you do that? I'm like, you did it first, dude.
You probably guess the guy's age.
Probably.
Because it reminds me of a lot of my students. They like throwing crap, but they can't take it.
Yeah, no, seriously. I'm going to go Magi this time. I'm going to go Teamwa. I haven't gone Teamwa in a little while, so I might want to go him.
Now they got the Ace of Spades over there.
Hey, they've got the YouTube studio icon there, so I guess Condus is a YouTuber.
I can check.
Condus 12, see if he is. Kondus 12, see if he is. And check chat again in a minute. I want to hear what's going down. It's going down. I'm yelling, oh shit. While we're waiting on this to load up, I need to go get a drink. 1 second.
He's on Twitter.
He's on Twitter.
Apparently he's from Alaska.
We're fighting an Alaskan?
No, he's on your team, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Oh, wait, yeah, he is on my team, so yeah, we wouldn't be. Oh, the Orange Knight is on the enemy team. No! My big green brother, why would you betray me?
What did we do to deserve this?
There's a lot of green in this match now. Condis is a green Lawbringer. They've got a green Shugoki. And, of course, I am the Crocodile. So what's going down in chat?
Okay, Conrock Productions. Oh, he's got a decent following.
And I know Geist Draken. I know him.
Yeah.
He's in our community. And he's the Kensei.
Oh, he's a Christian, too.
Oh, well, that's good. Always glad to have a fellow believer in Christ on our team. With the power of God and anime on our side. I haven't watched a new anime in a while. The last new anime I think I watched was Shikamori Isn't Just a Cutie.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, it says, like, I hate fighting Medjais. They can't be right.
Medjai can be Why does everything I love go away? I'm like, make him away. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get over there. Then all of a sudden, oh.
Denied. Let's see. What tastes better, salty or sweet? Depends what you're in the mood for.
I typically like salty.
Have you watched Charlotte? I love Charlotte's Web.
Charlotte's Web is amazing.
You don't think we should be able to pair emote with the other team?
No, because most of the time the enemy team isn't gonna want to.
Yeah.
They're gonna run up to you and try to kill you because that's gonna be their modus operandi: kill the enemy team, and that's the way it should be. I think the thing that a lot of people want is they want paired executions, and I just can't even begin to fathom how you would make that work. All right, they're gonna make their way to C, but if I can get to B and start turning that around.
Hey Raven and Lurk, have you guys met annoying woke atheists? Yes, we've
met them. We've met them plenty of times. I've met them on Twitter and in my YouTube comments. Now they're retreating back to A. I don't think that was a bright move. I would have capitalized on the lead that you had. Oh, I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to taunt us to go into A so that they can gank us there too. Okay. If that's what you want to do.
There's a party over here. The dad hero, his weapon is the belt. Ooh. Horrifying.
Got the Kyoshin down and execute. Oh, shoot.
Can't you let a man finish his execution?
Crap. Well, their plan worked. They ganked us all into oblivion. But I don't know what you gained there, because now we're back in B working on it. Oh, no, I get the strat. Basically, they're going to make sure that they're always in a team of 4. Because when they beat us in A, then even if 2 of us make it to B to try to hold it, all 4 of them will be on top of us, so we'll still lose it anyway. That's a good strat, actually. I'm trying to think of a way to counter it.
Hey, Raven and Lark, have you ever seen the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yes,
one
one of my
our
favorite
favorites.
movies. That's a great one. I'm going to go up to A and try to divide their focus a little bit. Because I think if I can split them up, we can have a better chance here.
The Abuela Killer, her weapon is the infamous Chakra.
Zone A.
Yeah, they're splitting up now. One of them's coming up to me, so maybe we can finally have a fair fight here.
So what did Ken say?
You lost Zone C.
Nope. Orochi showed up to help.
Raven and Lark, do you love me? Of course we do.
We do.
Hey, I know that blue lawbringer that killed you. Oh, personal friend of yours?
He's making sure I can't get revenge. Not cool. Yeah, that was cruel. The Kenta was just kind of standing there like, I'm gonna make sure you can't get revenge. I'm not gonna attack you. Shugoki's just gonna keep faking you out. Ah, that's so hard to. But I held out long enough that I think I managed to break their team flow. So I don't know if we'll win, but I think I broke their team cohesion for a minute.
One can only hope.
Nah, they're all working on B now. I see 3 of them in B. I don't know where the 4th one is. He's holding A. He's holding A so that they have a place to heal. They're good at strategizing, this group. But okay.
Question, favorite hero in game? We've answered that one in the most frequently asked questions. We actually do need to make another one of those. But yeah, you really don't have a particular favorite?
I don't have a favorite. I like all of them in some way or shape or form.
Raven, what rep is team on now? I've been playing since...
11.
Oh, sweet.
He's 11 now. Says,
I love how you strategize the match instead of just trying to go for kills like so many other players do.
I try to figure out the enemy's plan so that I can counter it. The only problem is sometimes they don't have a plan, and then it just means that I'm coming up with plans that aren't going to work. These guys are clearly strategy. Like, they started off with a very solid strategy, and I thought I found a way to outthink it, but nah. They've got a team that's very good. Like, they've got a Shugoki to just break our guards, a Lawbringer to mess with us, a Kyoshin to get in those light spams so that we can't ever truly trust our own guard, and then a Kensei just to be the overall hitting team.
Go up and see.
I better go up and C. Yeah, they're going to need it.
Lord Raven and Leggett Lark, I have a question from the Captain General of the Adeptus Custodes. Can there ever be enough DACA? You listen here. There's never enough DACA.
That's a question for the orcs.
No, it's from the Custodes. Yeah, got the revenge this time. But yes, we've heard of that.
Got him. We won't win, but I'll make him work for it.
Right now it's a close match.
They've got the lead, though.
They do have the lead, but it's close. It's not just like oh, we're getting waffle style.
Your team rallied.
Hey, Raven and Lark, do you guys like eating seafood? If so, what's your favorite? Well, I'm more of a seafood guy than Raven is. Not that he won't eat it. He does like some foods, like he's a big fan of salmon. But for a while, he would not eat it because of a bad experience he had. And
I don't like that. I don't like that the longbow from the Shugoki can actually take away stamina. Knee strike got him.
That's the Muay Thai.
Wait, one of theirs just quit. Why did you quit?
Why
Y'all
would you do that? You were having a good
y'all
chance.
were doing good.
You had a chance.
You had a y'all still have a chance.
You
Turn
just
B around and you've got this.
Be ironic.
I actually want y'all to do well. Y'all are a good team, legitimately. Y'all haven't been toxic. You've been playing very strategically. I legit would like y'all to win.
I mean, we prefer to win, but still. It's one of those moments where you're not even mad. It's like, that was pretty good. I've done several Battlefield playthroughs where that's been the case, where it's just like, man, this is just fun.
Team is breaking.
Because it's good to see like two teams both being incredibly competent. That's like real good play. I love eating fish, but I can't eat shellfish. There's like that. Raven's not big into shellfish. Most fish he'll eat, even if that is a bit fishy.
Ah, crap. Almost had him. Oh well.
All right, Lawbringer, it's all up to you now.
I don't think he'll make it, but man, what a close fight.
The pressure.
That was a good fight, though. That was a very. I'll give them a good fight. That was a tougher one.
Yeah.
That was a tougher one, and no one was overly toxic. There wasn't a bunch of thanks, and emote spam. Everyone played very well. That's the kind of match that I enjoy losing in front. Like, if I'm gonna lose, I'd rather lose against a team that I honestly felt like deserved to win, and they did. They played very smart. That's good team cohesion. And that Shugoki, gosh dang, he was tough. The Lawbringer was tough too. I'm usually not very good with Lawbringer, but he played very well. So good job, guys. Very good. That was a close fight. Condus, don't ruin this. Condus, don't ruin this.
Defeat.
We had a good fight. Let's all just accept that we gave it our best, and things just happened. Well, very good job, guys. Very good job. What time we got?
It's 9:40.
Is
It
it?
might be time to switch over.
Yeah, let's go ahead and switch over to Breach. It was a good fight, a couple of rounds, but we need to go ahead and switch over to Breach.
Yeah,
We're already starting to lose followers, so it may be time.
Actually, we've been doing pretty good right now.
Oh, really?
We're on 49 right now. Well, yours is 48, mine is 49. Like, we've been pretty stable. Like, we peaked at 53.
All right, well, let's go ahead and go to Breach. Guys, if you're listening, go ahead and switch to Breach if you want to stay on the same team. If you want to quit here, just break the team up, and I'll go to Breach.
Raven, how do all these squares make a circle?
All these squares make a circle. All right, he heard. All right, let's do Breach.
Geist is always listening.
Yep, there we go. Excellent. And we can kind of start to do our usual Q&A stuff here, like where people just want to ask questions and stuff.
Oh, what's your favorite dino?
Velociraptor.
Did we just become best friends?
Yup! That was a bad movie, but memorable.
You can say that about several Will Ferrell movies.
Yeah. Most Will Ferrell movies are kind of in that zone. It was bad, but boy, do I remember it.
Raven and Mark, what is your favorite Flash Gets video?
I love almost all the ones that have to do with Warhammer. Like all of those.
That whole can we just say that series, just the Warhammer series, is great.
Those are probably my favorites from him. But he has a lot of good movies. I love the
I love the historically accurate Disney movies.
Those are funny. I also like his. I also like his hood Pokemon stuff. That Cholomander. Hey man, you racist. And then the Mr. Mime thing. What the hell was that? Oh, that was a trippy fever dream is what that was.
You could describe a lot of Flash Gets as things.
You know, you really could. You really
But again,
could.
they work with Meat Crayon, so what do you
They do
expect?
tend to work with me crayon, but gosh. A lot of Flash Kids videos are funny.
Hey, Raven and Lark, what is a misconception on historical organization that you hate the most? On a historical organization specifically that you hate the most? Huh. On an organization.
I know a lot of things that I don't like about, like, there are people who say that they don't like something about an ideology or an outlook that I...
But an organization.
But an organization specifically? Maybe the Templars. I feel like they got a bad rap.
They got a bad rap. Ubisoft isn't helping with that, but not because they have anything against them. It's just because they needed it.
Right. Maybe the it's hard for me to think of any one group that I think has been overly demonized or hasn't deserved some of what they've got. There are plenty of ideologies. Like, I feel like the right-leaning or conservative ideology of the political field is overly harassed and hated for reasons that I think are strange. Christianity is the most oppressed religion that I can think of.
Like, statistically speaking, across the world, that is the most harassed.
So, like, those are some things that I think, like, that annoys me. Knights and samurai and Vikings and all these historical wars that we play here, the media likes to just paint as crude, rude, and socially unacceptable.
It's just betraying as a man.
It is, but still.
Yeah. Baptists have gotten a bad rap over the years.
Yeah, they have.
Yep. Hey, Raven and Mark, what do you think about the food called punch? We've been talking a lot about this. We like hush puppies.
Why are we talking so much about seafood tonight?
I guess they want to know our opinion as southern fried gentlemen.
I mean, hush puppies were never my thing. I usually tend to avoid those when we eat seafood.
I like them, but the problem is they are super filling.
Yeah, they are.
Like, so
Don't you do it.
It's not that I don't like them, it's just that I have to be careful how much I eat, because if I like eat like a quarter of a basket of hush puppies, I'm not eating my food. Is it just me or the Romans are always portrayed as the bad guys? Oh, they're a big empire, so they kind of make it easy, but they're not always portrayed as the bad guys.
I mean, Gladiator.
Rise, son of Rome. They got a few good things going.
Yeah, it's not all bad.
However, in recent years, yeah, you named it. I thought hush puppies were...
Oh, wait, this Black Prior just bowed to me. Do you know who I am, or are you just doing that because I'm a Centurion?
Oh, it's a Batmonger.
Batmonger!
Nice job, guys.
That's a good bat. That's a good bat.
Southern fried chicken made with love. There you go. That's good. Raven, what is your favorite food? Good man. Oh, Hannah just came in saying seafood is best food.
Hannah, honey, you and I are friends, and I would walk on nails for you, but you're also the same woman who likes peanut butter and egg sandwich.
The opinion that contrarian equals better has ruined the internet.
It really has, and it's not just contrarian. It's people who not just contrarian. It's people who say that subversive equals better. Oh, it's something you didn't expect. Oh, it's something against the norm.
I actually had a buddy that actually did like The Last Jedi when it came out because it was subversive, and I had to explain to him but it was like it defied what you didn't expect, and I was like, just because I didn't expect it doesn't necessarily make it good.
Well, the good example I'd say is I wouldn't expect the Millennium Falcon to be replaced by a Barbie dollhouse, but that doesn't make it good.
I mean, when I go into my local Wendy's, I don't expect to be shot by the cashier, but that doesn't make it good.
Just because something is unexpected doesn't automatically make it good.
My mom likes peanut butter, jelly, and onion sandwiches.
That is she pregnant now by chance?
That reminds me of apparently during the Great Depression there was a food where you would have a peanut butter stuffed onion, and they actually recreated it for a bunch of kids, and the kids actually liked it.
I don't think I could eat that. I don't like onions as a general rule.
Well, it's like a cooked onion, so I guess the sugars of the onion were breaking down. I guess.
The only time I'll eat an onion is when it's
caramelized.
No, not just that. When it's done with the potatoes and it's
potatoes and onions?
Potatoes and onions. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's good.
I'll do that.
Dang, Raven, your Centurion has grit.
I challenge you to pick one of my characters who doesn't have somewhat decent drip.
Yeah.
I put more time into making the drip for my characters than I do the actual playability, which is very sad.
You know, the thing is, it's because as you were saying, and when you were playing with one of your buddies, you look good,
you feel good, you feel good, you do good, you win.
But yeah, but the thing is, he's dripping because he just crawled out of the timer.
No.
You know I'm right.
No.
Yeah. My mom is 71 years old. I'm 20. Hey, listen.
You know
if
what?
It could happen to Sarah.
I mean, our mom. I mean, I'm not going to say her age. That's not.
Yeah,
Not,
we don't do that.
we don't need to do that.
In fact, they'll find us and refuse to make us food anymore, and we can't have that. I know we entertained our parents when we come home to visit. They said, "What are you doing here? Who let you stay here?"
Who let you in the house? Get out of this house.
In a loving, caring sort of way. It's funny how Raven picked the same color as Rome's football team. How about that?
About.
If you had to write a story about an empire, say Rome, how would you make them sympathetic? That's a good question.
I think sympathy, when writing a character or writing a place, has everything to do with what they're going through. So I would make it that they're going through a harshness that we can understand, like a famine or a war. And if we focus on the people of Rome suffering and the struggle of the emperor or leaders of Rome trying to find a way to fix it, then we can... Like, take, for example, Sparta in the movie 300. You sympathize with Sparta and what they were going through because they were being threatened with slavery and death from the Persians. and they had people within their own number, especially that one asshole guy, who was trying to overthrow it all so that he could have power because the Persians promised him power. And so we recognize and sympathize with the Greek plight.
But yeah, honestly, like if you want to see that done, like just in the telling of the history, Dova Hadi in his later episodes on Rome, like when you see Valentinian's death or Majorian's death, it really hits. It hurts. It hurts to watch. Not because it's poorly done, but because it makes you feel. I have felt more emotion for the retelling of the Roman Empire's history in a YouTube series than I have in a lot of major motion pictures.
The way that I look at it is this. You don't care about a flag. You care about the people who carry the flag. So if you want to make an empire or organization or group sympathetic, or you want to feel bad for them, or you want to show their weaker, more vulnerable side, then you show the people and what they're going through. You show what they're struggling with. For example, I'll give you a great example from One Piece, actually. When we meet Princess Vivi, who is a princess of a desert kingdom called Alabasta, she says that her people are currently going through a civil war, and she has information to save them and stop the fighting. Now, frankly, we don't have any reason to like Vivi or understand what she's going through. We don't have any reason to sympathize with her other than she's a pretty girl and she's crying. That's the only reason. But then when we get to Alabasta and we see what everyone's going through, how they're all being manipulated, how they're all being killed, how they're all dying, how they're all suffering, suddenly you care a lot about this nation. You suddenly care a lot about what Vivi's going through, and you want to save her. In fact, Luffy, who usually doesn't care about the backstories of others, becomes very passionate about helping save Alabasta. So, that's an example right there. I didn't give a damn about Alabasta until I saw its people and what they were struggling with.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see. I can't sympathize with the Spartans because I'm Persian. Fair enough.
I'll accept that.
Okay. There are some times where the Persians went through a rough ordeal.
Yeah, the Persians haven't always had it good, but I think the Persians were objectively wrong in what they tried to do to Greece.
Yeah, they were. But then there are other times, like, you got Cyrus the Great, who's just a good dude.
Cyrus
He earned the Great moniker.
Cyrus was pretty solid, not gonna lie. All right, we're coming to the Guardian. We're coming RMG2XX.
Okay. Let's see. This is for me. I know this might be a bit controversial, but I have a history question. Was there a story where the Germans weren't the bad guys in World War II?
There are plenty.
Yeah, we talked to the Germans. There is I can't remember the name of it, but there's like a German version of Band of Brothers, where basically it doesn't focus so much on the Nazis or the Reich, but so much as on the soldiers and what they had to go through, that I think was very well. But if you want like a real life story of them, in the Wraith of Nanking, there was the German ambassador who did pretty much everything he could to try and protect the international safe zone. In fact, if you go to the city today, they have a statue dedicated to him because of how many people he saved.
Well, not just that. What about I forget his name, but Sabaton did a song about a German commander who'd been given the order to hold Berlin. Mm-hmm. He couldn't do it, and he knew he couldn't do it, so he spent his time trying to evacuate the people and get them to Allied individuals because he knew the Allies would show them mercy. So here's the thing. I don't agree with the Nazi ideology, but I do care about the German people. Not all of the Germans in Germany supported the Nazis, and just because a person had their ideologies in line with the Nazis doesn't mean that they must be treated less than basic humans. Like, that's the
General
thing.
Walter Wenck.
General Walter Wenck. That's it. The way I see it, treat everyone with respect and with basic humanity. You may not always see eye to eye. You may have various differences and outlooks that differ from each other, but you're all human. You know, for all things being equal. You know, if I would want people to treat me with the same amount of respect as I would treat them. So even though I don't agree with the Nazis at all, and I'm glad that they're no longer around to cause trouble, I cannot bring myself to say all Germans are evil. Or all Germans at that time were evil. I don't agree with that either.
What about General Erwin Rommel and his staff? Rommel was a good commander, but if I'm being honest, his reputation was probably saved by the fact that he was forced to commit suicide, because he didn't have to go through any war trial. He could continue to be the guy that was just a very good general that happened to die, that was forced to be killed. And so that probably elevated his reputation beyond what already a high reputation was. Not that I have anything against him personally.
I don't have anything against Rommel personally. Like, that's neither here nor there.
Thoughts on Pablo Escobar? He is in fact a guy.
I
don't keep up with the cartels.
I don't care much about the cartels, and I don't keep up with them. I don't know all the Yakuza or Mafia or any of those kind of leaders. I don't know, I don't really care.
The German guy says, I really appreciate you saying that, Raven. My grandfather was ridiculed for his forced service in the Nazi army, even though he didn't believe in their ideology. It's a sad fact that sometimes, there are several Vietnam veterans in the United States, depending on where they went in the U.S., they were ridiculed and called baby killers and spat on because of what went on in the war. It's things they couldn't control and things they didn't even do. And they didn't even, I was drafted, I didn't want to go. And then there's other instances where they came home and they were ridiculed by veterans of other wars in the U.S. because there's how come you didn't win? It's
yeah,
was
so
out of my control.
It's just what it was, I'm not gonna say that what the Germans did was good, but I'm not gonna sit here and say that they deserve to be treated like shit. What's done is done. The past is in the past. Any German who sits around going, we should kick ourselves for what we did in World War II, no, get over yourself. Stop being a bitch. Any Japanese person who says, we deserve to be punished and for what we did, no, shut up and stop being a bitch. I would say that to anyone, because the past is the past. If we learn to move on, it's important to learn from the past, but it's not good to sit here and beat yourself up over it. I'm not my ancestor. People always say, what, you might not have owned slaves yourselves, but you're white and your ancestors may have. I'm not my ancestor. I don't agree with if they did own slaves, there's no way I can control that. There's nothing I can do about that. There's no way I can possibly tell them not to do that. I cannot be held responsible for the crimes of my ancestors. And if that's the game you want to play, where I have to be held accountable for what my ancestors, who I have never met, did, all right. As long as you're prepared to hold the weight of the crimes of your race. And let me tell you, there is no race on this earth that does not have dirt on their hands. That does not have blood on their hands.
Lord Jesus, you without sin cast the first stone.
Exactly. There's not a single race, country, ethnicity, or gender that does not have something to be ashamed of. So if you want to accuse me, white people own slaves. So did black people. So did Asian people. So did Hispanic people. Everyone has owned slaves at some time or another. You just happen to live in a country where we were one of the last ones to get with the memo. But guess what? We're not the last! Because it's still going on.
They just don't call it slavery.
It's not called slavery anymore. That's a bit of a buzzword. No. It's called we're gonna take your passport. You work for us now, and we're not paying you.
Yep. How do you think the stadiums in Qatar got built? Hey Raven, how would Apollyon feel about She-Hulk?
Apollyon probably looked at that and said, what travesty have I witnessed? I'm glad. She probably said, no, kill me again. I refuse to acknowledge this is happening.
I would like to raise a glass to the one thing that unites us all, xenophobia. Good quote there, Jedi.
Hello, Commander. May I call you Shepherd?
I was wondering, the reason I asked this because of the movie Valkyrie. After I saw the movie, it just got me thinking, oh yeah, I remember Valkyrie.
Yeah, I remember that movie.
Sad thing is, honestly, removing Hitler wouldn't have fixed all the problems.
No, it honestly wouldn't have. Hitler had patsies and fallback plans.
Hitler was but the surface of the iceberg.
The very tip.
Like, so when people say, like, so if you could go back in time and kill Hitler, it's like, nah, that doesn't...
It wouldn't have changed
that
anything.
doesn't stop the underlying problem. Honestly, the best thing you could do to stop that sort of rise of power would basically, at the end of World War One, either stop World War One from happening in the first place, or at the end of it, don't be so harsh on the Central Powers.
I hate what people say all the time, like, oh, if you could go back in time and fix something, what would you fix? Nothing. Because genuinely, there are some things I'm worried about. If I fix this or I make this not happen, something's going to screw up today. Like, for example, I don't like what the Nazis did, but at the same time, there were some good things to come out of World War II.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's like with sort of like the butterfly effect. Like, if I go back in time and stop this, does things line up exactly? The thing is, like, if you drop me in a timeline and I know it's parallel universe timeline, like in Dragon Ball, and I was like, okay, so I can't go back to my own timeline, but I can use my knowledge of history to try to influence things, then that's when things get interesting.
Right.
Because, am I saying I'd run guns for the Byzantines? Absolutely.
Am I saying that I do this? Yes, I would do this.
Raven and Lark, thoughts on Cristiano Ronaldo? Don't know enough about
I
him.
don't know who that is.
I think it's a soccer player.
I think it's like a lunch monitor.
Hilbert Ferdinand, don't go to Serbia.
Who to play? I better go a Viking. I haven't gone a Viking much tonight. I've only gone... You know what? Let's go, my Valkyrie.
You went as Valkyrie? You went as a Viking the first match.
Yeah, but I haven't gone much as a Viking. I've only gone once.
Hey, Raven, did you hear that song, Raise Your Banner, yet?
Is that a Sabaton song?
No.
No.
No, I don't think we've heard it yet. We need to. Of course. Oh, gosh. Yeah, my kids are currently obsessed with the World Cup right now.
Yeah, many of them are.
Korea beat just won one of their most recent games.
Yeah, and that pissed off a lot of the kids that I was seeing today. They're like, how'd South Korea win? They're a small bunch of losers. I hate K-pop. I'm like, oh, did they beat a team you like?
Yep. However, our team beat Iran, so...
Well...
That was funny because like there was like some tension there outside of just the game, and the players on both teams were like, "Guys, can we just play the game, please?" And I'm like, you know what? They're right. Let them play the game.
While we kill each other outside the stadium.
Let's see. I wonder, is a Polymom a goddess under that helmet? I like to think so.
I like to think so. I like to think that she's secretly Valkia the Bloody.
No, makes sense. Ravenlark, your thoughts on Steven Crowder?
I like Steven Crowder a lot. I think he's a necessary voice in an age where comedians and late night TV and stuff like that have just gone the way of the dodo. I enjoy a lot of his takes. I think he's very entertaining. If I had to criticize him at all, I think that there are two things I'd criticize. Number one, I'd say he's a little bit of a fearmonger. I think he becomes very much a Debbie Downer if you're not careful.
He's not the worst offender in that regard, because I think he's been getting better recently.
Yeah, he's been getting a lot better, but for a while he was very much like, we're all doomed, America's doomed, we're going to be a dystopian nightmare, and I don't think that's happening just yet. I mean, I'm not saying that we're in a good place per se, but it's certainly not as bad as he's sometimes making it out to be. The other problem I have with him is, even though I don't think he's necessarily a xenophobe, I do think he pushes his nationalist pride to a degree that I'm kind of like, okay, settle down. Like, he mocks a lot of cultures, and I always think, if you knew more about the reason behind that culture, I think you wouldn't be so quick to pick on it. Not to say that some cultures don't deserve to be teased. I tease every culture for every reason.
We tease our own culture for Pete's sake.
We tease America. I tease America all the time. We have no reason not to be teased.
If your country has people in it, it's gonna get teased. That's just the moral of the story.
That's just how it works. And I don't mind that. That's fine. But there was like one moment where he was mocking the Japanese. He said that the Japanese people, for the longest time, had an imperialist system, a class system where only the upper class could do anything. And I'm like, they don't have that anymore. I don't know why you're talking about that now and using it as some kind of... We had slavery once upon a time. Like, are you really going to judge a culture by how they used to be, not how they are? Crowder, I feel like you're being a little unnecessarily wrong there. But as a general rule, I do like it. I do like Crowder. I think he needs to lighten up sometimes, and I think I'm not going to say he needs to check his privilege. God damn, I'm never going to tell him that. But I am going to say, Crowder, old boy, do your research first.
Yeah, typically he does.
Typically he does. It's not something he does often. But there are moments I do have to say, watch it.
Okay. Dr. Calibrations, I think I can answer that. What's up with the Ohio? Okay. Because Ohio people are everywhere except Ohio. Where we live in South Carolina is literally called the second capital of Ohio because of how many people from Ohio moved down here. And we have a lot of great friends from Ohio. One of our friends at church, who is also one of our youth pastors, is from Ohio, and we tease him relentlessly about it, and he picks on it himself. We don't actually hate Ohio or people from it, but there's so many that come out here. It's like, dude, what's wrong with your state that everyone has to vacate the premises, man? And so it's sort of like a fun little teasing that I do it. However, if you're a Buckeyes fan that is one of those obnoxious Buckeyes fans, you know who I'm talking about, then we kind of like, dude, chill out. It's a nut. Who would win an award, Ohio man or Florida man?
Florida man. Florida man wrestles gators. Ohio fans praise a freaking nut.
It depends on the humidity, in my opinion. If it's the humidity's high, Florida man's got it. Also, has the Ohio man had his daily ranch rations?
That's a good question.
Oh, here's a spicy one. Hey, Raven and Lark, what do you think of Christopher Columbus?
I think he's a little overrated, but I don't think he deserves the hate that everyone gives him when Christopher Columbus Day rolls around.
I think the thing is with Christopher Columbus, he is both overly praised and overly vilified.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to look at it.
Yeah.
Does he deserve a day?
Maybe.
Perhaps not. But does he deserve all the hate he gets? No. Was he a nice guy? No. Was he like worse than Hitler? No.
Not by a long shot. Well, people always say Christopher Columbus led to the genocide of Native Americans. No, he
that was the disease he inadvertently brought over.
He was not trying to kill the Native Americans.
Just a solution.
He wasn't even the first one to find the country. You're right, he wasn't.
Not to be fair, Leif Erikson and the boys wound up in a completely different location.
So let's keep things fair here.
Florida man is a chaos undivided avatar. He's just too strong for anyone. Are you implying Bellacore is from Florida?
That would make some degree of sense.
Florida man versus every animal in Australia. I'm worried that Floridians would become an invasive species in Australia.
Why am I still alive?
Raven and Mark, thoughts on Billy Graham? You like him?
I like him. I've always liked him.
You like his work?
I'm dead. We're all dead.
Like his son too.
Thoughts on J.R.R. Tolkien? I like him too. I like him.
Hey Raven, what if Florida man met a member of the Deathcore of Krieg? So you want to know if the Catachan
Jungle Fighters met the Deathcore of Krieg. That would be mutually assured destruction.
Indeed. Actually, they probably fight together. If you need the Catachan guys and the Deathcore of Krieg on the same world, you're in deep.
You're in a lot of trouble if you need both of those Chads on your team.
What did I join to, bro? Pumpkin Eclipse. You had joined.
Wait, what did he say?
Pumpkin Eclipse. What did I join to, bro? It's like, yes, you enjoyed. Yes. Embrace the power of yes.
Can't wait for Valkyrie's buff. I also can't wait for Noosh's buff.
Hey Raven and Mark, is Ohio still an early access game? I think it's finally gone to major release. We're still waiting for the DLC for the Cockroach Day Cincinnati to drop.
Correct. I haven't really had a rant yet tonight.
I kind of did.
I don't know if that even counts. Get to work, minions. Start beating it up.
What do you think about Dark Tide and we need to get that now.
We probably do need to get that, but I need to focus on building up my money, remember?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I could check it out.
You check it out. You let me know what you think. See if I should get it.
Guys, don't.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Why am I hitting heavy? My remote acted up for a minute there. Remote, stop acting up.
Yeah, Val had a kink in her arm she was trying to work out.
Well, for some reason it was just spamming heavies and I wasn't even touching the trigger. I'm going to hang up here for a minute. Alright, things seem to be working now.
Hey, fun fact about Ohio, since its existence, no president has ever won the election without it. No, I think Biden won without it.
Well, saying Biden won is...
Oh, yes. If every state in America were to fight each other solo, who would stand supreme? Probably Texas, based on population and natural resources.
Yeah, Texas would probably hold out the best.
If we're being honest.
If that happened, but if that actually happened, I'm just gonna pull out and go to Japan. Bye, guys.
I guess
I'll send you some sushi.
I'll be drafted into the South Carolina militia.
I mean, I'd fight, but I just wouldn't see the point.
Can my North Carolinian and Georgia brothers unite into the grand state of Carolinia, the Greater Carolinia?
Greater Caroliniana.
How does the PS5 controller feel?
Feels good. Actually, I really do like it. It doesn't feel that different from a PlayStation 4 controller, but it feels crisp. The graphics feel good. Like, this is genuinely an upgrade from my PlayStation 4.
Have you guys considered taking up shovels and separating California from the rest of the continent?
I would gladly do that, but I'd need the entire Death Corps of Krieg to help me.
No, I don't want to get rid of all of California. I just want to get rid of LA, San Diego, and San Francisco.
I want to try your crushing counter. Let's see if I can do it. Oh, there we go.
Ooh, thoughts on the China protest?
I support everything that is going on right now in China. I support everything that those protesters are doing. I am proud of them for doing it.
Yeah.
I am so glad that they are finally rising up and saying, you know what, enough's enough. I'm proud of them. I really am. Like, as you probably heard in my last stream when I was playing Far Cry 5, I had a girlfriend from China when I was in college. Cute girl, too. Very sweet girl. I haven't heard from her in a while just because of, I think it's because of what's going on over there. I hope she's doing okay. I hope she's fine. I don't know. But I'm proud of them. China finally had enough. They're finally calling out what's going on. And the left finally can't say, oh, well, you know, China's the example of the communists that work. No, it's not. You're looking at the result right now. There's only a matter of time before people started demanding change. Nothing gave me more pride than hearing a Chinese man saying, give me liberty or give me death. That filled me with so much national pride. When Hong Kong, during the Hong Kong protest, when Hong Kong was raising American flags. Yes.
I remember it was like, be the America Hong Kong thinks you are.
Be the America most of Asia thinks you are.
What I love is that Hong Kong were actually saying, we'd rather live under British control again. And someone's like, the Empire Strikes Back. UK, it was the Long Con.
The long con. But yeah, I'm very proud of what China's doing.
Britain starts opium.
There is nothing wrong with what the Chinese protesters are doing. In fact, you want to think about something interesting? You know those protesters who bitch and moan about, we don't like Trump, we don't like Biden, we don't like whatever they say these days. We don't like this, and then they protest in the street about these minimal things. What are they afraid of? They claim they're so brave, they're so strong. You know, they're standing up to oppression. They're so brave. They're taking such bold risks. What are you risking? See, those China folks, the Chinamen out there who are risking their lives and their freedoms. They are getting arrested in the streets just for holding camera phones. One Chinese police officer tackled a 12-year-old girl, and they claimed it's because she was acting suspicious. And then I look at these American protesters who have no idea what they're protesting. But people say they're just so brave. Look at how brave these people are. They're not risking anything.
I love like at one point like they actually went to like an American protest and they asked the protester, "Oh, so why are you out here?" And he couldn't give a straight answer. He had no idea.
Exactly. I'm all for the right to protest. I'm all for the right to peacefully assemble. But if you can't even state what you're protesting.
It's kind of a lot of things. Like some people, like they want to get involved with the cause and they just don't know what's going on. Like I remember seeing one guy and he went around like a pier in California and he got people to sign a petition saying that I'm an idiot. And only one person he talked to actually went, "This says I'm an idiot." And then he's like, "Thank you for actually reading it."
Yep. I think people just want to protest because they feel like, oh, look at us, we're fighting the man, and then I go, you're all idiots. You're rebels without a cause.
Yeah, well, the thing is, another thing is just like, and also like you can tell like what they do in the protest. Like, are they going in front of government buildings? Are they protesting government agencies? Are they protesting these large businesses and corporations that they claim to hate so much? Or are they burning down Denny's?
Like, especially when they're like, we're going to tear down this statue. Do you even know whose statue that is?
Well, it's just ridiculous. Like, okay, going after the Confederate statues, I somewhat understand. But then it's like, oh yeah, we tore down this statue of Ulysses S. Grant.
You know he was... What? They tore down statues of Abraham Lincoln.
It's like, why? Why would you do that?
Because they were white oppressors.
They tore down a statue of Martin Luther King. I don't get that.
Well, they wanted to cause destruction. That's what it is.
It's like they want to cause destruction because they want to justify.
Guys, the funny thing is, the Chinese mindset is to just fall in line. The Chinese mindset is just to do what government tells you, to do what Big Brother tells you. The fact that they finally had enough to the point that they're protesting nationwide says a great deal about how fed up they are. Like I said, I couldn't be more proud of them.
They did good. But just pray for him, because Xi Jinping is not going to take this lying down.
Oh no, he's not, but he's also not going to be able to deny it either.
Because this isn't like Hong Kong, where it's just like, Hong Kong, they've always been a little different. Yeah, this is nationwide now.
Yeah, he can't exactly push this under the rug and say, oh, nothing to see here.
Raven, do you think imperialist China is better than today's China? That's a question right there.
That is a tough question. On the one hand, I do think that today's China is better because despite China claiming to be communist, they're not. They're communist in name only. They practice more capitalism than they'd like you to know about.
Honestly, they kind of resemble imperialist China in a lot of ways.
They do. They do resemble a lot of imperialist China. But on the other hand, on the other side of that argument, I look at imperialist China, at least certain dynasties of imperialist China. I'm not going to say they were all good, but certain dynasties where things made sense. You had a leader, he had his followers, you had the people, they did their thing. It was very basic and simple living. Nowadays, it's like walking on eggshells. But I blame that a lot on the common modern day culture, the contemporary culture of today. Big Brother's always watching. There's nothing you can do that isn't somehow recorded or filmed or, saved on some flash drive. It's very difficult to have a private life anymore. It's very difficult to live an ordinary life where someone or something isn't monitoring your every move, which is kind of scary. That's why I say, if I could live in the past, there are times I wish I could, because even though I would be out a lot of this technology, at least it would be a simple life and I would know that I would have some degree of privacy. Like, some degree. I don't want fame and fortune. I don't want to be a king of a country or a president of a nation. If I can just be a hero to a small group of people, if I can have a wife and kids and know that I'm taking care of that family and know that I have the strength and monetary ability to protect and provide for them, I'm happy.
Sounds very Daniel Boone of you.
Well, Daniel Boone was pretty Chad.
I believe he said, all a man needs to be happy in life is a good woman, a good horse, and a good gun. He might have been onto something.
He was onto something. Although if you're a knight, you might have to say a good sword instead of a good gun.
Good sword. I don't want to play for Tony. Bicycle.
Man, all y'all got your executions. I had to stand here and watch it happen.
I have a tiger breeding facility underneath my garage. Ain't no government gonna stop me. There you go.
That's the way it goes.
It's like, what are they gonna do? I have an army of tigers. Your argument is invalid.
I have an army of pet tigers. You cannot touch me.
Heavy as the crown, better to be a simple man like the Leonard Skinner song. Or think of even older reference. Yea, Damocles, but truly a sword hangs over thee.
Most of y'all may not know that reference. The Sword of Damocles. How many of you guys know that story? Answer in chat. Let me know.
Who here has heard of the Sword of Damocles?
Have you guys ever heard of the Sword of Damocles?
This may be a little teaching purpose.
That would be kind of neat. We could.
Okay, well, oh yeah, they've heard of the Sword of Damocles.
So y'all know about the Sword of Damocles.
Oh, a few don't. Short cans though.
Okay, the Sword of Damocles.
All right, he's not alone.
Okay. Hold on.
We got a surprising number of people that do know it.
Well, I'll explain it to the people who don't know it. The Sword of Damocles is a saying that basically means that you don't. If you say someone a sword of Damocles hangs over your head, that is basically meaning you don't understand the power or the privilege you're talking about or messing with. It comes from a sort of a fable, sort of a story, where this man named Damocles in Greece basically looked at his local king and said, "Oh, king, you have so much power. I wish that I could have the kind of power you do. I wish I could have the kind of privilege you do. If I could be king for just a day, I could do all these great things and all that kind of stuff." And the king said, "Tell you what, Damocles, you're on. Tomorrow, I'm going to let you be king for a day." And he said, "Great, yeah, I can't wait to sit in your throne." Well, the next day, Damocles walks into the throne room. And when he goes to the throne, the king is standing by the throne saying, "Take a seat, Damocles. This is your throne for as long as you want it." And when he goes to sit on the throne, he notices that hanging by a thread above the throne is a sword. The sword is pointed straight down. If that thread is cut, the sword would go right through the head of whoever's sitting on that throne. Damocles doesn't want to sit on the throne anymore. He goes, I'd really rather not. And the king goes, "Oh, please, be my guest. You deserve a chance to be king. Take the throne." So Damocles sits on the throne, but almost immediately says, "I was overly zealous. You can have the throne back." And the king said, "Let this be a lesson. The king who sits on the throne always has a sword above his head." And the reason why is because we quite often don't realize the kind of danger and risks that come with having power. When you are a ruler or a leader, you quite often have a great amount of responsibility and power hanging over your head. And it's not just from people like who want to assassinate you. No, it's also you've got to protect your reputation. You've got to protect your people. You've got to make sure that everyone's economically and financially stable. You need to make sure that your kingdom runs properly or your family runs properly. If you are in a position of power, there is a sword of Damocles hanging over your head. So be cautious to say, "If I had power, I could do..." Only say that when you're prepared to have the sword hanging above your head. And that's what that comes down to. And I'm starting to lose my voice. I might need to call it soon.
Yeah, this probably needs to be the last one. It's also close to 10:30.
Yeah, this will probably be the last one, guys. My throat's starting to go. Come on, clear up.
Yeah, there's a great quote from the show 24 from when Vice. Everyone has ideas until they
Correct. Suddenly, I think that's something. I think that's something I always found really funny. People like to say, "Man, if you let me, if I was allowed, I could make communism work."
Yeah.
And I always laugh at that. I'm like, yes, all these people throughout history, these people with years upon years of experience and training and schooling, they didn't get it right. But you, a 19-year-old barely into your first year of college, listening to a few professors talk about it, you could get it right. You understand. You cracked the code.
Yep.
Right. When I was subbing one day, a student actually asked me, "What do I think about communism?" And I said, it's a fever dream. It can never actually work. And he said, "I don't know. I mean, why wouldn't it work?" And I told him. And by the time I was done explaining it to him, he went, "Oh, wow, I didn't know that." And I'm like, "Now you do. Let it be a lesson."
Yep. One of the things every child needs to hear. Every time communism has tried, it's failed spectacularly. I can hear the lobster talking and yes, we are a fan of Jordan Peterson.
Yeah. "Now you need to go and clean your room." Oh, God, hold on. Let me clear my throat. I can do that better. Now listen, the problem that we have is that people like to think that they're the ones who can solve all the problems, but no, that is the greatest example of someone who has never had any life experience.
Or never worked with lobsters.
And never worked with lobsters. I think that it's important that people understand the value of the crustacean. Lobsters are very similar to people. In fact, I have a lobster in my pants right now, and he's learning a lot about what it is to be a man. I couldn't resist.
Humans aren't vulgar tubes.
I actually really respect Jordan Peterson.
But I also really love Freedom Tunes' take on Jordan Peterson.
Wow.
I love if Jordan Peterson actually was king of the incels. Like, and this is, get your own Bionicle. This is there's a philosopher called Jordan Peterson. He's kind of been a big deal. We can let you look up his work. He's really intelligent dude. But there's another YouTuber named Freedom Tunes who's made a few jokes about him because he really looks up to Jordan Peterson, but he likes making fun of his mannerisms.
Well, Jordan Peterson has a very strange sounding voice, and he also wrote a book called 12 Rules for Life, in which he spends a large amount of time talking about the hierarchy, structure, and social status of lobsters. Now, he was trying to make a point. He was trying to point out that the way people form their social hierarchies is natural, and he was using lobsters as an example because lobsters have a similar social hierarchy to humans, and you wouldn't expect that. But many people I read his book, and I was like, you spend like 8 pages on the lobster. Dude.
Well, I understand the reasoning why he does what he does, and it's just funny. And actually, apparently, like, his own students, like, back when he used to, like, when he worked at university, he would actually have, like, meetings with his grad students where they would all have dinner together, and, like, whenever they would like something, instead of clapping, they would, do a lobster clap, just to sort of make fun of him.
Well, I think he handles the jokes well.
Yeah, I think so, too. Let's see. Okay, there's a question that's been popped up a few times, and you as a English teacher, I want you to answer. Raven, I know the general subject of the piece Romeo and Juliet, but never understood the whole picture. Can you please explain?
Are you saying you want me to summarize Romeo and Juliet, or do you want me to tell you the themes of Romeo and Juliet?
The themes, basically.
Well, most people should know the basic story of Romeo and Juliet.
I think they got that one.
Okay. Romeo and What happened? I just ran up and I died. That happened. What? Okay, I'm gonna just drown myself.
Before you get into that one and one me just dropped $5 and said it's about time. I can withhold no longer. It is mine. It is mine. With the one in place as I am as I am a gamer. Also, hi Lark.
What was said? I mean, he dropped $5, and I appreciate the $5, but I have no idea what you just said. Like, legitimately, I'm at a loss for words. What was just said?
Okay, so it's that's one mine. He was correcting how I pronounced his name. That's all.
Oh.
You didn't need to drop $5 to do it, but we appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate the $5 anyway. Anyway, about Romeo and Juliet. Romeo and Juliet, I hear a lot of people say, oh, it's the greatest love story ever written. It's really not. It's a love story, but not in the way you think it is. Shakespeare had this habit of mocking the upper class. He liked to mock the upper class's views of society, honor, and love. Romeo and Juliet is the story of young love unrequited. It's young love uncontrolled. Romeo and Juliet are 2 kids in love, and they haven't thought much about their situations. But they know that what they're doing is wrong. They know that what they're doing is going to upset their family. And that just excites them more because neither of them are happy with their family at the present time. Because if you look at what the family's going through, the 2 families, the Capulets and the Montagues, are at war with each other. They hate each other. And so if they were to find out that Romeo and Juliet, who were 2 rival families, were in love, that's just so wrong. How could they do that? That's so evil. That's so against the family. So the idea of risk satisfied them. It made them happy. Because Juliet was being promised to marry this guy she didn't want to marry, and Romeo was just done with a really bad breakup. They both were lovesick. They both wanted real affection, and they wanted to do something to piss off their families. So they run into each other, think each other's very attractive, and then later find out who the other is, and they want each other. Like, think about Juliet's famous line, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name. she's very well aware that there's a problem with the two here. They're very well that they're both aware that the two are in a very tough position, but that just makes them more excited for it. They're kind of like, yeah, this will be fun. And they get so caught up in their desire to have a good time and to engage in this romance that they start losing sight of what's important around them. They start getting other people involved in it. And then they end up taking each other's lives out of this passion, out of this desire for each other. They convince themselves, oh man, I can't live without you. I can't live without the other. What am I going to do if I can't have you? And then eventually, they ended up dying as a result. Showing the effects of what happens when young love can go out of control. What happens when families tear at each other. What happens when love is not properly approached. Actually, I talked about this with Othello. There is wise love, and then there is passion love. Passion love is not always safe. It can sometimes lead to disaster. Because passion love forces you to stop thinking about what matters and thinking just with what makes you happy. And that's not a good thing.
Day.
My throat is.
Oh, you mean the Baz Luhrmann one with Leonardo DiCaprio? Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I'm not a fan of that one.
And
And honestly, Romeo and Juliet's just not one of my favorite Shakespeare plays. It's okay, but I think it's a little overrated compared to some of his better ones.
But I have this general rule when it comes to Shakespeare: if you're going to modernize the setting, modernize the language too. Because what's very weird for a bunch of guys in like a Miami Beach style play suddenly start speaking in 16th century English dialect.
Any other questions? Because we're nearing the end of the night, guys.
Well, according to extra credits, Juliet is an anti-hate love. It's not a love story, but an anti-hate story. Which I say extra credits are morons.
Well, they're not 100% wrong. There is some of that in there, but I don't think that's the primary message.
Hey, Raven, how's your little alligator friend doing? Is she good?
She was taken away, guys. That was a long time ago. Abigail was moved by some natural wildlife folks who came in and took her away while I was at work one day. But don't be upset. New alligators have been brought to the area. Apparently, a mother alligator laid some eggs nearby, and they've gotten into the water. So Abigail has a replacement. But the one that I saved, no, she's no longer here.
Hey, Raven and Mark, have you seen the movie called Bruce Almighty?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
Interesting movie.
Movie.
Kind of cute movie.
Yep.
Not the way God works.
Yeah, but they got a lot more accurate than a lot of others have.
Yeah.
Particularly, probably my favorite scene in that movie is when he's really depressed and he tried to make someone tried to override someone's free will and it didn't work. And he asked God how do you make somebody love you without without controlling, without taking away free will? And he goes, "Welcome to my world, Bruce. When you answer that question, come talk to me."
Literally, people always I think that's the big thing, People always come to me with that. Good fighting with you guys. That was a lot of fun, but my throat's starting to go. I probably need to call it there. But I think that's the thing that people always talk about. I think that's the big thing. That's the argument that a lot of atheists like to throw at Christianity, like they think it's some kind of gotcha. They always say, if God wants us to love him, why doesn't he just make us? Why does he have to even give us doubt? Why not just show himself to us so that way we know and we can love him? Why even give us free will if it allows us to do bad things? Because free will is one of the greatest gifts God can give. Think about it like this. There was a horror movie, a horror book one time called The Stepford Wives, where these men got together and developed this chip that they put into their wives' heads that made them act super subservient, super loving, super caring. Their whole world revolved around making their husbands happy. But over time, this turned into kind of a monstrosity because the wives started killing people who they thought were getting in the way of their husbands or getting in the way of them being with their husbands. And they realized it wasn't real love. Another good example, and it's a weird one. It's an old anime called Ultramaniac, but it was one of the first manga I ever read. In the manga, this girl is desperately in love with this guy, but the guy doesn't know she loves him. The girl has a witch friend, and when she learns that Ayu, the main character, has a crush on this guy, she decides to help by trying to give the guy a love potion that will make him fall head over heels in love with Ayu. She messes up and gives it to the wrong guy, which is part of the joke, but when she tells Ayu, don't worry, I'll do it right this time, I'll give it to the right guy, she says don't. Because if you give him the love potion and he starts saying how much he loves me and wanting to be with me, it'll make me happy at first, but at the same time I'll know it's not real. It's not my choice. It's not his choice. It's something manipulating him. So if God just stepped into your heart and said, hey, love me, is that real? Or is that just a puppet? Is that real love, or is that just him forcing it on you? God gives you the choice to make the right decision. The choice to choose him. Now, the downside to giving you that free will is that you have the potential to do horrible things. You know, I forget his name. Stephen Turek, I think his name is. The apologist. Frank Turek?
Yeah, Frank Turek.
Frank Turek. He was asked once, how come God allows bad things in the world? And Frank said, if God wanted to get rid of all the badness in the world, he'd probably start by wiping us out. Because we do bad things. Because we have the free will to choose right and wrong. God is not going to take away our free will, but because he's not going to take away our free will, that means we have the freedom to choose wrong, and because a lot of people choose wrong, they do bad, and then they have the audacity to look at God and say, this is your fault. You gave us free will in the first place. You want me to take it away? No, because then that makes you a slaver. Well, then why don't you do some good in the world? Why are you holding me to be the arbiter of all that is good when you have the freedom to make the choice to do good? So when people say, why doesn't God just make us love him? So you want him to take away free will. You have the freedom not to do bad. You have the freedom to do good. And yet people choose to do bad. And so that, I think that's hysterical that that's an argument that people throw out. You have that freedom to do good. So when Bruce Almighty asks God, how can you get people to love you without taking away their free will? There is no way. You can't make people love you. You can't do that, not naturally and not really. God isn't going to make us love him. That would defeat the purpose of love. God isn't going to make us his disciples. And besides, Jesus said it himself. You know, he performed miracles. Jesus performed miracles in front of the Pharisees and the Sadducees and all the people of Rome and all the Jews, and they still hated him. Jesus even said, how can I talk to you of heavenly things if you can't even understand the earthly things I show you? I do these miracles so that you can see the power of God in me, and yet you still won't believe. And they were even saying, show us a miracle, Jesus, show us a miracle. He's like, you've seen plenty. You've seen plenty of miracles. You still won't believe. So when people say, why doesn't God just show himself? Even if he did, it doesn't guarantee you'll believe. Because one of my favorite apologists, David Wood, made a great point. He said people would comment on his YouTube videos and say, prove to me that God exists. And he has a great way to come back to that. He says, I'd love to prove to you that God exists. But first you need to prove to me that you exist. Because I don't want to be talking to nobody. He goes, what are you talking about? I'm typing this message right now. How do I know that? You could just be an automatic computer programmed to respond to my comments. Or you could be a monkey trained to type at a computer. And he goes, well, you know what? I'll call you. Give me your phone number. I'll call you. How would that prove anything? It could be a pre-recorded message from someone else, and it wouldn't prove it's you in any case. Then I'll come to your house. That wouldn't prove anything. You could be a hallucination or aliens sending down moonbeams to manipulate me.
It's always the moonbeam.
And you might think that's really over-skeptical. Is it? Because there are people who have said even if God were to come down, they still wouldn't believe because they would be convinced they were hallucinating. They'd sooner believe it was aliens than they would that it was God. So the argument that why doesn't God just show himself, it wouldn't prove anything.
Yeah, because Richard Dawkins even went so they said what would it take for you to believe in God? And he said I suppose that he'd have to rewrite the stars in the sky. But then he said, but then years later he went back and no, because it could just be aliens so advanced that they could just engineer the stars. And I'm just going, really?
See, that's the point. So people who say, why doesn't God just do this or this or this or that? Because God knows it's a waste of his time. It wouldn't convince you one way or another. You'd find some reason to be skeptical. You need to choose for yourself with the evidence that is presented. And you're like, well, where's the evidence? Look around you, dude. I challenge lots of people. How can you prove to me that this world, with all of its complexities, all of its intricacies, all of the ways it's designed and handled and built, how can you say that's not the hand of a creator, of an artist?
Well, the thing is, there's a famous quote, I can't remember which, he was like a physicist or something along those lines, and he basically says, once you start doing a lot of scientific research, you start drinking in the glass of atheism, but once you drink all the water and you get to the bottom of the glass, God's staring right back at you.
Well, it's hard to deny God sometimes. It's kind of like, you look like, I was researching cell structure for biology, how the cells work, and how each individual tiny part of the cell works. And I'm like, you think that's just coincidence? You think that's just something that randomly happens? Like, you really think that's chance? You want to know what that kind of odds are? That the people who argue about the Big Bang and all that, I always say the same thing. Take a watch, break it into 1,000,000 pieces, throw it into a bag and shake it for 10 million years. What are the odds that you're going to pull out a fully functioning watch?
Yeah, it's on the correct time.
And it's on the correct time. Almost impossible, right? Like, not even a percentile chance. And yet, that's the same kind of odds we're putting into stuff like the Big Bang. I think people who believe in that nonsense have more faith than any Christian.
Well, the thing is, like the Big Bang, like I think you need, like to quote Frank Turk, you need the uncaused first cause.
Correct. And like that isn't that like the scientific method? Like, there's always got to be a cause for, like, there's always got to be a cause to the reaction. Like the idea that for something to happen, there has to be a cause. Like, an explosion doesn't just happen. There had to be a spark. It's the same thing.
Yeah, well, the thing is, keep in mind, the Big Bang was a theory created by Christians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In any case.
Because originally the atheist argument was that the universe has always existed. It didn't need a creator. But then when we found evidence of the Big Bang, it kind of got co-opted.
Well, all we know from the book of Genesis is that it says, God said, let there be light. And there was light.
Time for a Big Bang.
Right. Anyway, I finished going over all my characters.
Oh, and Duncan wanted to tell you that about it's like he wants you to like he saw you put like gold on gold, and he's like, don't do that. And I'm just going, and I was like, okay, I'll tell him because he asked.
I wasn't trying to.
Yeah, I know. It's just it's that. All right. Let's see. Hey Raven, what does it mean if a person has mental disabilities or physical disabilities? What does it mean to God?
That's actually a question that the ancient Jewish people used to answer by saying God is punishing them, like God is punishing them or their parents. There's actually a great story in the Bible where there was a blind man. He was born blind, and he was begging in the streets. And when Jesus walked by him, he asked his disciples, "Why do you think this man is like that?" And they said, "Because he sinned, or his parents sinned, and God punished him." And God said, "He is like this for a reason." And then he healed the man. The point is, God doesn't allow things to happen for no reason. I know it seems harsh. I know it seems terrible that there could be people born in this world with disabilities or with physical abnormalities. It's harsh, but I also think that there is a reason and a purpose behind it. Now, the next obvious question is, well, what is it? I don't know.
That varies from person
to
person.
It varies from person to person. It can have various reasons. But I use this example, and I'll let you answer too, Lark, but I use this example. We can't know all the reasons why God does what he does, but know that he has more information than we do. And I'll give you an example of what I mean. When I was a little kid, I mean like in my toddler years, I suffered from a lot of ear infections. I suffered from a lot of ear infections and sickness. I was very sick growing up. So I had to get a lot of shots, and shots hurt. My dad would have to hold me still so that the doctor could safely inject me. Now, as a kid, I have no idea what a shot is for. All I know is it hurts like hell. My dad loves me, right? Shouldn't he stop it? Dad, don't make it hurt. Take the hurt away. Why are you holding me still? Why are you holding me still so they do this? Why aren't you stopping them, Dad? Well, the truth is, Dad knows why they're doing it. He has more information than I do. He has a better perspective than I do. He knows more than me. If I asked you, describe your hometown to me from where you're standing, you might be able to tell me a little, but now I'm going to put you in a hot air balloon. Now describe it. A change of perspective provides a whole new view on things. So that's why I always say, I don't know why hardships happen or why some people are born or end up in certain ways. I can't always say why. I can't always give a valid or solid explanation. But then again, I'm not the one with all the answers. I'm not the one who has all the information. And I think when we get mad and say, why would God allow this to happen? My response is usually, what do you know of God's plans? It goes back to the book of Job, where Job demanded that God explain, God, why are you allowing all this bad stuff to happen to me? Why would you let this bad stuff happen? And God says, explain to me north from south, east from west. Explain where the sun goes when it sets. Explain where the wind blows and why it blows where it does. Explain the beginning and end of creation. Can you explain any of that to me? No. Then why are you asking me to explain why certain things happen when it's my business? As he said to Moses, who made man's mouth, the deaf, the mute, and the seen, and all the blind? Who made them? You know, God, I don't always understand why he does what he does. But I trust him. And trust isn't easy all the time. Faith isn't easy all the time. But then again, if it was easy, anyone could do it. That's the way I look at it. And I get choked up about this because I know a lot of people who go through very, very difficult circumstances. Physical, mental abnormalities or deficiencies. And some of them turn from God because of it. They say, I can't follow a God who would let this happen to me or my family. But then there are others who come to God even more than before because they know that God is using it somehow. And it hurts to see them go through life like that. And I can't always see why God would let it happen, but I know it was for a reason. Faith is not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to hold. Trust is not an easy thing to do. But faith is the beginning of wisdom. You have to have faith that sometimes you won't have the answers, but it doesn't mean that you don't have a solution coming. That someone isn't in charge, that someone isn't handling it. There have been many times I've been very scared for the future because of my financial situation, because of the current situation in our country, the economic instability, the kind of leaders we have in office, the moral degradation of our society. It scares me sometimes because I always say, man, how can anything good come out of this? But faith and trust is reminding myself that it's not my world. God has it in his hands. And that's not an easy thing to remember. It's not an easy thing to admit. It's not an easy thing to say because there are lots of people who would laugh at me and say, you're a Bible beater. God, you're just one of these people who just wants to say, oh, God's got it, God's got it. Yeah, but I'm also happier than most of you. Because I can leave it in God's hands and focus on what I can handle. My dad used to say, if you spend all your time worrying about God's business, you're going to be a miserable person because you can't handle God's business. You can only handle your business. God gave you enough to deal with. Why don't you deal with what God gave you and let God handle the rest of it? Because if you focus on what you can't handle, you're going to be a miserable person. If you try to live every moment miserable and dejected and upset about things you can't control, you're going to be miserable the rest of your life. So I'm sorry I went on this kind of rant, but that's my stance about that. Lark, I'm sorry. I know you had something you wanted to say.
My point on the idea was, like, back to the idea was, like, people that were born in different, and so it's like, I go to David Wood a lot on that because he is a diagnosed sociopath.
Right.
Or psychopath, one or the other. And so, like, he has a very specific mental illness, and that I always wondered, why would God create someone like that? But the thing is, for the line of work that David Wood does, his disability, or the way his brain works, is actually perfectly wired to do the work that he does, because he gets a lot of death threats that force a lot of people out of the evangelism field that he is in. But for him, it only encourages and makes him want to go in even harder. And so he is it's interesting, because it's almost like he was engineered perfectly to do that job. Now, another thing I want to address is Duncan.
Duncan, okay.
Now, Duncan.
Let's start to wrap this up, though, because...
Now, Duncan, I want to clear up a little misconception. We're not telling you what to believe. We are saying what we believe.
What did Duncan say?
Duncan says, like, what we can all agree on is that nobody should tell you what to believe in. It is your choice and your belief. I, for one, believe in evolution from boneless fish. to now, but I do not force such on you. And here's the thing: if you want to tell us about your theory in evolution, your belief, and that sort of thing, that's perfectly fine. We accept that kind of discussion here. But the thing is, we're not doing this to say if you have to believe. We're saying this is what we believe as Christians.
Yes.
And we bring it up. And part of the Christianity is the idea of the Great Commission: go make disciples of all nations. Now, we're not going to drag you out and by sword point say you have to convert, because that wouldn't be genuine, and that's not the way God wants us to do it. But the thing is, we're going to express our beliefs on here. Now, we won't do it all the time or every day, but the thing is, if there's an opportunity to share our faith, we think that it's an important thing to do. And if you don't want to accept it, that's perfectly fine. If you say, I just don't believe,
then that's fine. I think people misunderstand what we're doing here. I'm not trying to force anyone to believe anything, but it amazes me all the time when people go into our comments, our chat, or my Discord, and people say, the stuff you've talked about with Christianity are things I didn't know. I'd not heard that. I actually remember one guy in the chat said, I'd never heard these stories about Jesus before. And I think it's important that people hear the full context. You don't have to accept God. No, we can't force you. We can't force anyone to accept anything. Because like I said, love is a choice you make. It's not something we can force on anyone. If you don't want to believe, I'm not going to make you. But I do believe, and part of my mission, as Lark said, is to share the gospel. And so that's what I'm going to do. And now you're free to ignore it. You're free to say, I don't really care at this point. And that's totally fine. That is totally fine. I respect you for not just hating us for what we do. Because there have been people who come after me because I'm Christian and say, you're just a Bible beater. You're just a believer in God. Like, you're a believer in a magical sky daddy. You're a believer in the flying spaghetti monster. We get that all the time. It's very irritating. So to a person who says, look, I don't agree, but I respect what you're saying, that's the best kind of person right there. A person who can agree to disagree, but still enjoy the content we make.
I mean, we still have a lot of, I've discussed with several atheists and even people that were pagan, or I think we had one or two as Muslims on here that's like, we disagree with you on your faith thing, but we still like your content, and we can still appreciate that we can have these discussions.
Yeah.
That's the sort of thing.
I'd rather have a discussion with a person who doesn't always agree, but is willing to listen, than someone who just hates for the sake of hating. You know?
Yeah, but hey, I think it... Oh, Duncan, relax, man. We're all good here.
We're all good. No, Duncan.
Actually, it's probably a good thing you brought it up, because we learn more.
We learn. It's a learning experience, guys. Every day I'm always learning more ways to spread properly, because I don't want to offend anybody. That's not my goal. Although I do think that sometimes talking about faith means you sometimes step on a few toes.
No, that's just the thing, because you got to understand, because when you talk about faith, particularly when you have two different, not necessarily a Christian atheist, but say a Christian and a Muslim, Christian and a Jew, Christian and a Hindu, when you have multiple...
And they all walk in a bar.
There's a joke set up somewhere. But the thing is, whenever we're talking about world systems and beliefs, there's a sort of mistaken idea, like the idea of pluralism, all religions are equally valid, and it's like, if you look at all religions, they contradict each other enough, you know that they can't possibly be true.
Correct.
So the thing is, I remember, because I had a friend that went over on a mission trip to Lebanon, and she made a friend with a good Muslim girl, and they were both talking, and the Muslim girl said, one of us has to be wrong. So shouldn't we be trying to prove the other one wrong, so that in either case we're both saved, because we're friends? And the thing is, there is that now. I'm not saying I've got to run down. It's just like you start shaking people. But the idea is, if you have two people that are in a genuine religious debate, there should be sort of the idea like, hey, I kind of want to bring you over to my side. Because if you're debating anything, you should be trying to bring other people over to your line of thinking.
Right.
But you shouldn't be upset if other people say, like, no, I'm just not convinced, or I think that there's another way. You have to accept that not everybody's going to see your way of thinking.
Correct, and that's just reality. So we're not, Duncan, don't feel called out. We're not trying to call you out. In fact, we appreciate what you had to say. Yeah. Is there anything else that people wanted to ask or say or do before we go?
I like Jedi Knight Silent Hills. The punchline is nothing happened because they were all normal people.
Correct.
That's a good one. All right. Well, I think that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, my voice is about to go, so that's probably for the best. We're going to call it here. Before you go, guys, 2 announcements. Number 1, live stream tomorrow. We're going to be looking at the new Rainbow Six Siege operator, and it's going to be a Rainbow Six win, because I actually think that this operator is pretty good. Sometime next week, we're going to do another video on Rainbow Six where we do the Rainbow Six cringe because we got some new information about the Night Haven characters and it's pretty bad, so we're going to be looking at that. Also, other piece of news. On Monday, this coming Monday, I'll be releasing the December update. It's going to have a lot of information in it, including information about Christmas and about my 30th birthday. Yes, my birthday's in December. And because it's Christmas and my birthday, there's a lot going on. And I'll go ahead and tell you this right now, guys. We're not going to be able to get out as many videos this month as I would like because my family and I have reached an agreement. Because my financial situation is kind of tough right now, they've requested that instead of buying gifts, I write stories for everybody. So a story for my mom and dad, a story for Lark, and also my friends Hannah, Jay, and Aaron have all requested stories. So that's 5 stories that I need to write before Christmas. I'm going to be spending a lot of time writing this month. So because I'm going to be spending so much time writing, that means I'm going to be spending less time making videos. So because of that, don't be surprised if this is kind of a slower month for releasing videos. But you can still support the channel and help me out by going to Teespring. We have a limited time promo deal on the Claire Claws images and stuff. Got lots of cool stuff in the Teespring store. Anything you buy really helps me out. If you'd rather not buy merchandise but still want to support, I do have a Patreon that you can go to. The links for those are on the banner on my YouTube channel. I do have a Discord if you'd like to join. I'm not on it super often, but I sometimes pop in to answer questions. And if you ever want to support me in other ways that don't involve money, if you ever watch my videos, just watch the ads all the way through because watching the ads helps me make ad revenue money. And encourage your friends and family to subscribe because subscriptions always help. Any of that would be very, very helpful. Thank you guys so much for being here. I know my voice sounds terrible. I've been talking too long. With that all said, Lark, you think that's good? Anything else?
I think we got it. Everyone's they're wishing you an early happy birthday.
Well, thank you for that.
And they're wishing you a Merry Christmas.
Oh, we'll have at least a few more streams before Christmas. We'll talk more about that as we get to it.
And perhaps once I get off on break, I can do a few more things.
That'd be great. So. That'd be really great. All right, guys. Well, I think that wraps it up. Thank you guys so much for watching as always. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow around 11:30. 11:30 is the time of the stream. And as always, I will see you in my next video. Take care.
Have a good one, guys.